Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. I am Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing, and we just had ourselves a small little break. And as always, I like to see what you guys got up to on the break. So, Justing, what'd you get up to, bud?
So I put some food in the oven, and then I got a big bowl of frozen dragon fruit. I've been munching on that.
What is dragon fruit? I don't know, honestly.
They're like, when you get them here, yeah, here, I'll try to show you. It's like, let me see if I can put up there.
Oh!
It's these. They're red or like pink when you get them here.
Uh-huh.
But there's something that when I was in China, I ate like every single day.
Okay.
They're white there. They're like, I don't really know how you describe it. It's somewhere between like a honeydew melon and like maybe like an apple or something. Like the texture is kind of in between.
Okay.
They're like sweet and tart. They're good. I like them.
They're sour and refreshing, with juicier flesh and a stronger taste. The sour pitaya, as it's also named, has been an important food source for the indigenous people of the Americas.
Wow, Grubby, you just knew that off the top of your head. That's some really good tidbits. But
Never know when you might need it.
Exactly. The next time I go to the grocery store, I am gonna have to grab myself some of that. Now, Grubby, my friend, what did you get up on your break as well?
Firstly, did you have pho yet? You said you're gonna have pho.
I was gonna get it, and then everyone I talked to, I was like, I'm just gonna order it, and they're like, no, you gotta go and get it. So I was like, okay. So I'm holding off to actually go and get it.
For understandable reasons.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna go like maybe after CCL or something like that, because usually it's kind of late in the day, and I just want to go relax with Bandit and go on walks.
Let me know how you like pho for the first time. But just took a little bit of a walk with the doggo. Let him get a bit of a breather, and you know what dogs do outside on the grass. Now ready for the second round.
I am ready.
Yes, sometimes, yes.
But we are back here ready to go into CCL. I had some small fruit snacks. I got another cup of tea, and I stretched my legs as well. Got to make sure that you're nice and limber for the upcoming matchup that is Diamond Hands versus Storm Esports. And we look at the Diamond Hands roster here, Justing. Still some big names that are going to be entering into the ring that is the Gauntlet series.
Yeah, we have Caesar Salad playing the tank. Gotfilth will be the flex. Kelsier is that main ranged. Nintori is the offlane, and Valimar will be playing support with the coaching, the veterancy of June on the bench. And this team is a team that plays really strange, weird strategies in the past. They're the team that has kind of been the most Wild Heart-esque from previous seasons. And I'm excited to see kind of what they can do as a roster in this playoff series where they had a lot of time to prepare.
And this is the only team that's ever made Phoenix look slightly good. But when we look at Storm Esports, Grubby, we've talked to Lauber, we've talked to all of them. How you feeling about this team going into Diamond Hands for this matchup?
Well, IB Things on range has been looking fantastic. Give him Bala, and he's going to tear everyone apart with that. BBJ, keep him away from Cursed Hollow. Keep Rutzo away from Falstad. I get these. But overall, this is an incredibly enjoyable team to watch. Skillful. It's hard to really name an MVP, but the one that seems solid every single time without any trolling, as funny as the French often are, I think, Ikwaza. He's been so solid every single time.
One of the best solo laners out there. IB Tings really comes to mind as well. He's been having a wonderful weekend of games. The Vala earlier, the Tychus, that was the Falstead in the Curse Hollow game. And I think this roster, I agree with you. They're firing on all cylinders, but they're going to have to really bring it once again to Diamond Hands, because we know already where we're going to go to for map number 1. We can start breaking down what our map's going to be, where we're going to be heading, and what some of these bans are looking like as well. The members of Diamond Hands, as the higher seeded team within the ladder bracket, will have the option, not the coin flip, of first pick or map pick. Diamond Hands opted in first pick, banning out Infernal Shrines. Storm Esports, as always, banning out Sky Temple. And we will be seeing Storm Esports choosing to take us to Battlefield of Eternity. And of course, for anyone that wants to know the stats on these two teams for Battlefield of Eternity, Diamond Hands sits 6-1, 6 wins, 1 loss, side of Storm Esports. Now, it's not fully updated, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yes, they did play it in the last series, so they will be 1-3 on Battlefield of Eternity as we are loaded on in to the draft. And now, we've talked a lot about expectations from the side of Storm through the last series, but Justin, I want to kind of get your thoughts. What could we see from Diamond Hands? Because you had mentioned they are the most Wild Heart-esque drafters in HeroesCCL Season 3.
Yeah, Diamond Hands, to me, is definitely the biggest wild card from the entire gauntlet. They're a team that has been somewhat inconsistent. They were kind of known for getting reverse swept earlier in the season and doing the reverse sweeping themselves. So they're a very high volatility team, just really good, a lot of ups and downs with their team. But they're also the team that has the strangest draft strategies. We've seen the Medivh Zul and the Zebo comps from them. We've seen just a lot of strange things. They like to play Phoenix when no one else does. And Storm Esports has made it really clear in their interview that they don't want to get cheesed. I think that, unfortunately for them, that probably won't be the case. I think Diamond Hands is definitely going to be bringing some strange strategies into this match when they've had a lot of time to prepare, and they are that team that does the weird cheese strategies the most. So I'm expecting a really crazy draft in pretty much all the games from Diamond Hands.
Man, boys, with all this mention of cheese, we should really just grab some wine right before we got back into broadcast. It would have paired very nice with what we could potentially be seeing here, but it is already going to be a Vala target ban and a Lucio ban as well. Will we see the Junkrat being taken out here? Feels like we're getting into a little bit of a slower draft, Grubby. It feels like in the last series it was like back and forth really, really quickly through the draft, and now I think things have kind of slowed down a little bit. I think these teams are getting a little bit more meticulous with their decisions and their conversations in between these few seconds they have to make ban or pick choices.
Diamond Hands are probably checking their notes. I mean, if they're anything like how probably I would prepare in a situation like this, where you've got several different teams to prepare for, you would have notes upon notes upon notes. So kind of going through that as you compare what you thought could happen and then what you think your response should have been, if you can map it out, should deserve a bit of attention. Now, no Avatar or Viking fans from Storm here because of the small nature of the map. Not entirely unplayable here per se, especially in Storm League, but in competitive it's been very rare to see Vikings or Abba on this map, so it's not a concern yet. For now, just a Johanna ban. It does leave the other OP King of the Nexus open. The highest win rate on Storm League right now is Rehgar. He's going to be snapped up quickly by Diamond Hands.
Now, you mentioned no Vikings potentially for this map, but may I remind you of Sidestep Kings, Grubby, Season 1, June, Vikings on Battlefield of Eternity, and guess who's the coach for the side of Diamond Hands?
Okay. Wait, I'm gonna guess. It's June.
Yes.
Oh,
woo! But no, like
kind of made it easy by the way that you. Yeah.
I wonder if there's a world where like one of the Diamond Hands players is just like, hey June, this is kind of like an interesting thing we can pull out of our, back pocket, maybe a ladder bracket thing. Like maybe they've been secretly practicing it. I don't know. It's just, I don't want to completely disregard it. But what we should consider, Justing, is everything that's happened in this draft, because there is a lot to talk about already.
Yeah, so things are somewhat similar to the previous game we saw in Battlefield of Eternity, but Storm Esports this game does get the Hanzo, so they're not getting that Vala where they can enable a strong double support composition against the one-shot blow-up of the Li Ming. The Muradin is not quite as telling as a Varian is. Varian is extremely one-dimensional. He needs to play for the one-shots off of the taunt. Muradin has a lot more tools available. He has the attack speed slows, he has the damage on his level 7 talents, he just has a lot more diversity in playstyle, so a lot less to go off of for Storm Esports, and they don't have the Vala, so Diamond Hands definitely doing good prep with their bans and picks after watching the previous series and kind of getting some understanding of what Storm Esports is looking to do. Also, Storm Esports with Hanzo, that's not the best Deathball style hero. We could still see them look to go maybe with a Tyrael composition. That's something we haven't seen from Storm yet that I've kind of been expecting. We could still see the maybe Tyrael Tracer coming into the later picks, but they pretty much have a very flexible first two picks on Storm.
And the picks will continue here, as we did have an Anubrak and a Rexar ban, some interesting bans, and it's notable because you don't have. It's actually, Grubby, it's a little interesting because Li Ming is considered like, oh, you just take Disintegrate and you just counteract the Anubrak. I wonder if they're just afraid of the Anubrak, even just cocooning the Li Ming or something like that. Do you have any thoughts on that?
He's a good counter to Anubrak, but he brings many things, including being able to use beetles to block skill shots, spell armor. And like it's only a soft counter, I think that's fair to say. And in fact, I wouldn't take in the current meta Li Ming into a Nubrak anymore just for Cocoon.
Oh,
because there's other quick damage sticks available as well.
True.
Which I think is safer. Like I'd rather take a Tychus. He's also got quick damage sticks, even Melting Point, or a Tracer, and none of them lean with spell armor and skill shots into a Nubrak, which kind of a weakness. Now, things are happening. What do you think?
Testing?
Things
Yeah.
are things are certainly happening. Storm's comp is not a complete death ball, and it's not a complete poke comp. It's kind of this weird in between. The Tracer doesn't have the normal protection that you see from the Tyrael. They picked up the Diablo instead, and then the Diablo is countered by Malthael, and the Tracer is a response to counter the Malthael. So Malthael counters Diablo, Tracer counters Malthael. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic there. They do opt to go with the Malthael Lunara as opposed to maybe taking a Tychus and something else in the offlane. So their front line is going to be a little bit squishy with Malthael instead of having a traditional offlane like Hogger or Blaze. And overall, I'm not sure if Storm is going to be able to get quite the same value that they would have got with something like a Tyrael. And this isn't quite as deathball-y as I like to see from them in general. Diamond Hands definitely has the tools. I think a lot is going to come down to how Storm is able to utilize their bunker to be able to negate that last strikes from Malthael.
Bunker is going to be critical, as well as just the push and pull of Lobber's Diablo, but let's go ahead and find out what happens here on Battlefield of Eternity. Justin, thank you as always for breaking down these two drafts for us, as we've got Diamond Hands in the blue, Caesar Salad on the Muradin, Got Filth on the Li Ming, Kelsier to play Lunara, Valimar on the Rhaegar, and Nentori on the Malthael. Over in the red, Storm Esports, we got IB Tings on the Hanzo, Lobber on the Diablo, BBJ on the Brightwing, Retzo to play the Tracer, and Dayquaza on the Blaze. Now, I wrote down a Storm Esports win. There's a few things that I do realize and consider. This is a Got Filth Li Ming, which is very, very scary to say the least. This is also Lobber's Diablo, and well, we've had some memes in the past about turbo-inting on Diablo, so I'm a little back and forth on it, but overall I do like the aggression. I like the nuisance of the Tracer. I think the poke of Hanzo is really strong, and BBJ can shut things down with the polymorph, and then there's that bunker, as Justin was saying. But Grubby, I have to get your thoughts on these two drafts, as we have a little bit of a back and forth through bottom lane. No major skirmishes just yet.
Yeah, we got the block charges from Muradin here, so he's going to be more survivable into Hanzo. Some people may be like, just put all the heroes on equal footing and say, why would you ever take block charges into Tracer? But she's not always going to be the first 4 auto attacks going into you. There's still Diablo, there's still Hanzo, Tracer's going to be on someone else than Muradin, and you really shouldn't boil it down to because there is a Tracer, therefore block charges are useless. Hanzo hits really big, and he's going to be more likely to often hit Murat. So, more in-combat survivability, less orientation towards recommitting to a fight after being low. And Muradin can still do that. It's just third wind is especially good when you're into poison damage. Note how Lauber is blocking the shots whenever possible against Godfilth to try and keep his tower a little bit more alive. But this rotation by Storm is saying, even if Tracer's here, we can't stop this 4-man right now. They're stronger right now. We'll do the same in the other lane. And better even. They've got already the entire gate down.
And I think it's critical to note, as you were saying, just Lobber just blocking some of that shots, but also Dayquaza able to tank up some of this damage from the fort, and then Tracer just able to have the sustained kind of whittle damage on said structure. It's a little base racy to start on Battlefield of Eternity, and we will see 4 talents fairly soon for both sides. There you can see Retzo actually using the Pulse Bomb to immediately get extra damage onto the fort, and Tori does step forward, and I think that little step forward was the signifier for Dayquaza and Retzo to back away, because Caesar Salad, don't know if he actually showed completely, but he was rotating up to help out Nentori. And when we look at the trade, when we take stock of what happened, it is still Storm Esports on top of the race, siege, and overall map pressure. But a Belith and a Larian will be spawning in the north-south positions. This is always standard. For anyone that's wondering, we always have natural vision of the blue team. Hold on. Dive onto Nentori in top lane. Phase shift from Brightwing. Stormbolt from Caesar Salad. Does stall out one. Polymorph from Brightwing comes through. And that's going to be a solid first blood.
No.
So close. I was going too slow. Dang it.
You were like the Diablo that does do the shadow charge into overpower, but not immediately. And it may be the right situation, but just people don't know how to follow up on that. It was good because you were body blocking a bit, but then next time. Just shadow charge overpower, and I'll be right there with you.
It's we're getting better and better every day. Like yesterday we were a few seconds off. Today we're a few seconds even closer. But level 6 coming up, and the tower actually, the RNG will take down the camp in top lane, so no need to rotate and clear out the fallen shaman in top, because just the targeting of the tower. Now these immortals, as I was mentioning, they always spawn in the north-south position. We naturally have the vision of the blue team, so those axes, those are going to be the Immortal that the side of Diamond Hands needs to hit. The Shield will be the Immortal that the Storm Esports needs to hit, just for anyone kind of looking at the minimap trying to figure out what that means. And it is going to be a race between both sides, but the race is a little bit faster. Oh, yeah, it's a little bit faster for the side of Storm Esports.
Wait, who won? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, Storm won. Yeah, despite that little thunderclap from Caesar
Yeah,
Salad.
I got nervous.
I got this weird dyslexia, color blindness, like right as the race runs down. I always don't know
Same.
who won because
I do too. And I even have
maybe-
colorblind mode on.
and I'm not colorblind, but like
No,
at the moment where like the Immortal is running down 1 to his HP, I'm like, you need to have HP bar or not? Because you see their color, but that, yeah, okay. Anyway,
Exactly. No, I'm right there with you, Grubby. I have to take a second to. I'm like, which one is it? But either way, Siege continues through bottom lane for the side of Storm Esports.
Storm Esports, nice little lead here. They already had so much damage on the top forward with that early double lane Blaze Tracer. Even Brightwind popping over, get that Maltheo kill in the early game as well. 2 forts down to 50%. Storm is off to a great start. Both of these teams in the league are 4-3, but Storm had one default loss because of circumstances. So essentially Storm is kind of like 4-2 in actual games played. That means that their record potentially is quite a little bit better than Diamond Hands. They've also already won 3-1 in the previous series against the team that they just beat. And then
Oxygen?
Diamond Hands is coming in fresh. Yeah, Oxygen. Diamond Hands is coming in fresh. For now, Storm is in the lead. And I'm looking at Ratso. I think he's such a funny player. Not like haha funny, but like the roster that he has. He has such a strange roster of heroes. Like he plays these squishy ranged assassins that can really wreak havoc, like Tracer and Sylvanas. But then he also plays things like Uther Zarya, just really sturdy, solid, slower characters. And then Maiev. Like, it's his preferences that have led to him playing and practicing certain things in Storm League and in scrims that have led him to be the player that he is. He didn't take a list of meta heroes of a singular role and say, what does my team need? I'll play those. Okay, it's all the ranged assassins. It's just whatever he happened to play in his life that has led him to have the roster that he has now. And kind of like Lauber said, when he plays on a meta hero that they need, Falstad, right now they rather let someone else do it. So now we see him on Tracer. Not exactly in the same vein as an Uther.
Not at all. You know, it reminds me a little bit of it was one of the old episodes of Into the Nexus. Kyle Ferguson and Garrett Art. They were talking about one of the things, like, I played a lot of solo queue, so like one of the big suggestions is like have 2 heroes from every role in your kind of stable, your roster, so that way you can kind of be able to flex a little bit. And I feel like it does kind of come from that area of Storm League being able to flex a little bit. Like, okay, we don't have a healer. So Rutzo's like, I can Uther. It's like, oh well, we don't have a hyper carry. It's like, oh, I can go ahead and Tracer. So I think there is a little bit of just being able, like that Storm League kind of having the extra expanded roster really helps out with this a little bit. But hey, we're going to be seeing another Immortal phase. This is the second one of the game, and Alarian is being shredded by Storm Esports, but there's a lot of respect coming out from Diamond Hands. Diamond Hands just got their 10 talents here, and will try and turn onto Dayquaza. Keep in mind, Bunker's available. Dayquaza also has the Immortal to help out. You can't pop Bunker if you get chain CC'd, but Bunker will come down, stalls out a few seconds here. Blaze has a sliver of HP. Hanzo rips an arrow. It's Maltheo to be traded.
Hanzo arrow into Immortal stun. Had they not been so busy killing Maltheo, they could have been on top of that like Piranha, taking down Diamond Hands. But for now, it's a 1-for-1 with the Immortal once again by Tracer's Fringe going over to Storm Esports.
I gotta say,
Oh wait, no, it's actually a huge shield. Never mind. I thought it was like tiny shield. It's a fantastic huge shield.
They got a really good Immortal here, dealing 618 base damage, 1,236 into structures. Lauber running on in with the rest of his team. Caesar Salad anchoring, really good positioning, and Lauber does finish out Souls at 8 minutes, so he does have that 5-second death timer if he goes down. I'm looking at Diamond Hand's positioning, and it looks like they're going to give over the fort. Remember when I said yesterday about the logo? Oh, Tracer, Rutzo! What a recall! Holy crap!
He was like 1% health, cleansing the poison there from Maltheo, from Lunara, cleansing that, and then coming out. You think, is there going to be a re-engage? But they used much on her. It was really close for Diamond Hands to blow her up right then and there, as Rutzo went in for a cheeky 1v4, trying to land the pulse rounds. but my God, nearly took him down. BBJ really coming to the rescue together with that recall. Luck more than anything that he was able to press recall in time because he was like 1% life.
Yeah, the BBJ always a critical healer and just so aggressive with his positioning and what he's able to dive and save. As I mentioned yesterday, we have that logo underneath Diablo, so you can see it right there. There's the soul stone at the center of his model. That signifies that he has full souls. Yeah, so that was what I was talking about yesterday. But I'm just gonna casually remind you from time to time. That way I don't have to remind you in 4 weeks. But huge error! Oh, little misplay actually. I think with the overpowered shadow charge.
Yeah, that's true. The arrow might have hit otherwise, and so didn't quite work out there. Apocalypse and arrow now going to be on a longer cooldown. That is, of course, a great combo when used together. When the arrow flies and you believe it's about to hit, you press that Apocalypse, 1.5 second stun from the arrow. Enough time for the Apocalypse to come out if you cast it just before the impact. You get the big double stun.
Fire breath. Big fire breath.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's lightning breath.
But it still works out that way though. You get the big stun on the grouped up enemy heroes. You drop the lightning breath and you're starting to cook them. But also lightning breath, keep in mind, does slow by 4% up to 40. So you then have the opportunity for Blaze to come with Jet Propulsion. Tracer is able to have the sustained damage, chase, pulse round, etc. And Hanzo is able to angle some arrows and get some big damage into these teams. I really like the layers that we can see from Storm. With Diamond Hands, they've got opportunities here. Last Rites, Leaping Strikes, Wave of Force, Avatar Murden for sustainability, as the objective phase race is going to be a little bit more in favor to the side of Diamond Hands, as they've got 1,000 extra off. But maybe a fight here, Grubby?
The Thunderclap that Caesar Salad comes through with a little bit of a bait, like focus me. Maybe that just gave them that 1,000 HP lead. But the poke has begun with Hanzo, Murden, with Hanzo and Blaze, shooting some fire outside. It was cool. And, well, let's see who is going to be winning this out. We've got Malthael and Brightwing on the perimeters, just kind of defending. That's already 4,000 HP being done by Storm Esports into that Immortal. Call that 6,000. They're whittling away, and how will Diamond Hands act? They've got to bring Malthael in here so that they've got the kill power on Diablo. There's a stun on Blaze. They're trying to force a bunker, maybe.
Blaze self-heals, Lightning Breath, that's a wonderful arrow from IB Tings to land onto the Lunara. We do have a recall from Retzo to get the phase shift from BBJ. Is the re-engagement going to be happening from Storm? Absolutely. Dayquaza's back in the mix. Nice Arcane Orb kind of wiggle away from on the side of Storm Esports as Diamond Hands is looking for some of that poke value. No orb talent, so no, you cast it at this range and you hit a hero, you get the cooldown reduction. None of that shenanigans for this Li Ming. She's very much going into the illusionist sort of area, or just her trait build. But here we go. 12,408 HP, shielding to the Immortal. And the Immortal will be having a total of 19,650 just base HP. And of course, damage-wise, 718. Into structures, 1,436. Grubby, it's looking good, better and better for Storm Esports. Where does Diamond Hands draw the line in the sand? Where do they make their stand? Because 16 is looming.
It's all down to Caesar Salad trying to serve someone up. But look, it's only ever Lauber and Dayquaza in range. Tried that blow up once on Tracer, but no real easy targets there. And I know in games like this, it's really hard for Malthael to do anything at all because you're not really allowed to dive in with him. Although, if it was Cure, maybe he will find some kind of great way to bait as if he could die and then doesn't. But mostly Malthael is super reliant on the tank to create a lot of space and put someone low. Not really the most agile of characters. So it's pure defense right now. I don't think any lines in the sand will be drawn just yet. Diamond Hands just going to wait for an opportunity.
The opportunity might present itself to Storm first. There's a wave of force from Li Ming to displace Lauber a little bit. Caesar Salad jumps forward, but it might have just been just to get his stacks off of the dwarf launch. Or excuse me, dwarf block. Yeah.
Partially it's that. Partially what Murden often does is to bait vulnerability, showing that he has no escape, but still knowing that he's got Avatar. So he wants people to hard engage him so that his squishies are more survivable. He wants to be the first one to get attacked into. That's the kind of tank Murden is. Just like Thrall as a bruiser. It's like, oh, I could die. No, I can't die because I got all these abilities, and then your team cleans up. But Storm is not falling for any of it. They present a very nice unified front and defense. And they just take down that keep under the heavy defensive attempts of Diamond Hands.
And it's not an easy task. That is typically very punishable, being that far into the enemy team side. Your retreat path is very far for the side of Storm Esports. But what Storm has, and well, had and still has over the side of Diamond Hands, is going to be that 16 talent tier advantage. And Diamond Hands, they are a little afraid to realistically step into Storm, it feels, with this composition. I'm sure Justin is already making copious notes about how Diamond Hands needed to step in and play more aggressive. But and I'd like to definitely hear that, because it feels like Diamond Hands, they're a lot more passive than I expected with this pretty aggressive draft, realistically.
I think the main issue here is that there's a Malthael with respect towards the existence of Diablo and needing to kill him, but having no design space left in the draft to go for a Tychus. Malthael is not like a Tychus. He's frontliner, so he cannot really put damage as safely. The problem with Malthael is it doesn't create any space, unlike a Blaze. Blaze is a massive damage sponge, and a Malthael is just a glass cannon of deletion. Unless space has already been created, he can't go in, so you're essentially fighting 4v5 with a little bit of a death shroud now and then. You know, that cloud, that blanket that he kind of spreads over the floor. That's about all he contributes, and that's going to do a few hundred points of damage. It's nothing like what Dayquaza and Blaze can be offering to Storm right now.
Dayquaza is actually in the bottom lane clearing out the fallen shaman camp, so that's going to be the go. That's going to be the green light for the side of Diamond Hands. This is what I wanted to see, but Nintori's going to be traded for Diablo. Diablo's already back. Lobber lost his souls, but he got the 5-second death timer. Caesar Salad does pop the avatar, and this is going to be scatters coming out from from IB Tings, and the race is on between both teams. Malthael dead, but Diablo's back into it. He has the Fire Stomp build, and I think Lobber wants to step in, create some chaos, maybe create a potential. Oh my god, 1,380, and this is going to be a Larian to the side of Diamond Hands, but how much value do they actually get with this if they lose? Oh, they lose their Murid in a staggered death, 10 seconds away from the Malthael coming back. This is easily Storm Esports able to clear in bottom lane, able to clear the top lane. They're going to send Blaze, maybe Brightwing just into bottom to, oh no, well, the Fallen Shaman falls on its own, and it looks like Blaze will Hearth back for full mana, but this Immortal shouldn't get much value at all, even though it's dealing 1,660 damage into structures. There's no advancement from Diamond Hands to help out Alarian, and he will fall, getting a front fort gate. Not even a tower and a sidewall.
Yeah, the gate still has 6 HP.
Nice.
Too bad that it did 1,660 damage into structures and not 1,666, which is much better for a Diablo map, really.
Right.
But the gate remains up. And Diamond Hands, despite winning their first objective of the game, the 4th one in total, can't make use of it because of the double deaths of Malthael and Muradin.
So at 17-19 with some, well, these levels are pretty close. I have a feeling that this is going to be very similar to right before 16 talent tier, where Diamond Hands just have to turtle up and wait for their 20 talents, because Storm Esports should be able to kind of slowly soak in that extra 1/8 of an experience bar they need.
Yeah, it's not a lot anymore. They pretty much are going to have that Storm tier talent. Already starting to move towards somewhere. They could go for the Khazra, rather passive. I guess usually teams don't tend to backdoor minion waves and then go for the keep, because you don't have that safety net of the minions soaking the keep. And there's no time pressure either. Storm can take this Khazra and now just move to the keep. I don't think they passively set up for the Immortal. I would like them to go for keep with 20 versus 18, but it seems there's so much respect into the Immortal, and I'm only assuming that this is the right decision for Storm, otherwise why would they do it? That they are just going to straight up fight for the Immortal. Free objective, essentially, with 20v18.
Caesar Salad initially taking some damage. We do have that 20 talent here from the Tracer. Here's an arrow from Hanzo straight into Caesar Salad's face. We have Malthael being pushed around. Valimar does get the Self-Ancestral. Nintori trying to help out here as the bunker did come down from the Blaze. Muradin mega stunned, but he's able to get the Dwarf Toss away in his avatar form. 50 souls for the Diablo, so if he does fall, he's not going to have a 5-second death timer. Meanwhile, in top lane, we do have that Impaler camp that was pressed up a little bit. Malthael going to respond to that, and it's looking, in my eyes, like this is going to be another Immortal, the 5th one of the game, over to the side of Storm, but they see Malthael and they want to go for the fight here, Grubby.
Yeah, they're trying to get another kill. Lunara, oh, the Sonic arrow from Hanzo getting the stun, but Kelsier does get away. He's effectively out of the fight, though. Godfield's trying to get away. He's trying to dodge the next shot from IB Tings. First rights on Blaze, doing just a bit of damage there. coming out from Althea, and that was his contribution to that fight. Fantastic job for Diamond Hands to stay alive, though. Not easy. 18 versus 20. Storm moved on them furiously, but Diamond Hands was able to wax on, wax off, and save all the members there. They're now trying to do what race they can, but they're still up against the wall.
And I actually, it's the level 16 for Tracer, my apologies, is the armor reduction, but Lauber's gonna get all in. He's gonna be saved by just so much good healing from BBJ. An arrow was ripped by Abby Tings, and it's Li Ming to fall down here. Kelsey, you're trying to get some leaping strikes over the enemy team, but a scatter arrow will connect onto the Rhaegar. That is gonna be Malthea falling. A triple kill to the members of Storm Esports as they want more. Rutso wants the kill onto Muradin. Tower shots are defending, but Rutso dives under tower. He's got the heavy hand, and he's gonna be able to get the autos out. This is going to be an Immortal to top lane. Belth will push in, but Storm Esports are already rushing to the core after finding 4 kills into the face of Diamond Hands. This is going to be map number 1. Oh, what? They're going to make it. Oh, my dear Lord, Ivy is going to be taking a lot of damage. The phase shift will mitigate that, and here comes the damage into said core. I don't even think we're going to be able to see the Immortal making it to the core. The Lightning Breath comes out. And Kelsey is considering, do I want to mess with my KDA? Do I really want to go for this? Unfortunately, it's going to be all 5 members falling. The core falls shortly after. Game number 1 goes over to the side of Storm Esports, showcasing that first best of 5 series did not tire them out whatsoever, and they are ready for this marathon of games today. And that's a strong start. I mean, it's 2-10 in kills, Justing. And I gotta ask you where it went right, where it went wrong, why did it go this way? Just all the questions for you, Justing.
So for Diamond Hands, things pretty much went wrong from the beginning, from the level 1. Their setup, they were in a 2v1 top where Malthael is laning against Tracer and Blaze. And I mentioned that in the draft, Tracer counters Malthael. There's really no way for a Malthael to be able to ever get in range of the Tracer to fight back. And while it looked like Diamond Hands was getting a good trade bottom at first, we saw them bottom pushing in with their 4v3. They didn't get nearly as much as the Tracer and Blaze got top against the Malthael. And overall, it did kind of feel like the Malthael was more of a detriment than a benefit to the side of Diamond Hands. Throughout that game, every time Malthael would show in the side lane to clear, that's when Storm would push up, and they would play super aggressive and just get a ton of poke between the Blaze and the Hanzo. And if the side of Diamond Hands in a 4v5 tries to step up like that, they immediately just get ran down by Rutso on their backline. And so it felt like it just doesn't work when you need to have Nintori in the 4-man or in the 5-man in order to get kills. If he's not there with the team, they don't have any kill pressure on the front line. With just Lunara, Li Ming, it's just not enough damage. They really need that last rites, that percent damage, in order to kill the front line. And so here, they have to make this decision. You see, this is like the one time they get a kill, Malthael rotates, but Malthael's rotating because he's giving up top wave, clearing top wave for this. That's why Storm is willing to take this fight, even though they know it is a 5v5. They know that if they take this fight, regardless of how it goes, they're going to get value top from the camps pushing. And that kind of just felt like that was the story of this game, was in a Storm Esports feels super confident to basically do whatever they want, to step up and look for poke on whether it's slow sieging bottom or slow sieging an Immortal with the Blaze and Hanzo. They're confident doing this as long as they know where Malthael is, or they know that if Malthael does rotate, they're going to be doing that in exchange for siege somewhere on the map. And they played it really, really well. This was cool to see that Storm Esports doesn't only play super aggressive deathball styles, they can also play kind of a more laid-back poke style composition. I'm proud of Lauber for having the patience to not do any inting or anything on the early game on Diablo. It's good patience to just sit back, press W, and let his team win the game. That's something that I've been a little critical of him in the past for, so it was good to see him be able to reel it back, just chill for a bit, just press W and let his team kind of do all the dirty work in most of those engages. So well played by Storm, a very different play style, but I can't help but think that if the Malthael had been a Tychus and the Lunara had been something just a normal offlaner like Hogger, this might have been a much easier game for Diamond Hands.
Okay. So it's a little bit, I wouldn't say it's not like a draft failure, but there's some changes that could be made to better optimize the outcome for Diamond Hands sort of deal.
Yeah, and even with what they drafted, they maybe should have just sent Lunara to the offlane, just taken the neutral damage, the PvE damage at level 4, and just sent Lunara to the offlane. That would have also negated that really bad early game trade where they traded half of a fort for the bot gate because having Lunara in the 1v2, not nearly as bad as having a Malthael who can just never get in range of anything.
Okay, yeah, it did look early game like Malthael did struggle in that split, as we did have a lot of siege in for the side of Storm Esports. But we're not done talking about Heroes of Storm maps, because we know where we're going to for our next map in our second best of 5 of the day. It is going to be Diamond Hands opting for first pick priority, as they are the losing team on Battlefield. So Storm Esports, they're going to pick up a map, a comfort, if you will, as this is going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. And anyone who wants those stats at home, Tomb of the Spider Queen win-loss record for Diamond Hands, 2-3. For the side of Storm Esports, updated from the previous map we saw earlier today, 5-0. So right now, Grubby, Storm Esports, they're up in the series, in the gauntlet. They're going to a map that they've been very comfortable on. They've already practiced this map earlier today up against Oxygen Esports. How are you feeling about this matchup between Diamond Hands and Storm getting into Tomb?
Yeah, they were able to stop a Stitches comp with Lucio and Zarya. No doubt Diamond Hands saw that. It'd be so surprising if they were like, nah, we're not going to watch that game. Like, I kind of get it. Sometimes you can psych yourself out if you watch your oppos in tourneys. You don't watch, you just rely on your own strength. But that's what coaches are for as well. They don't personally feel affected by the burden of that stress, because they don't end up getting to actually need to play out the game. So that they would still give that information that Zarya was picked and fairly crucial to the victory. So we see that Vala ban. Kind of makes sense. Ivy Tinks looks real dangerous on it. Big question here. Will we see the ban on Zarya?
Well, Justin, we got a couple bans here. Same kind of question to you. Expectations for Tomb?
So I think the early pick bans that Diamond Hands had in the previous draft were fine. I think things really just sort of fell apart in the second half against what Storm was playing, and Storm showing that they are a little bit more flexible than just only playing death balls is good. So it makes it a little bit difficult to draft against Storm in particular, knowing that they don't rely too heavily on just one playstyle. I like the Blaze ban. Blaze Dequaza on the Blaze in the last game was doing a ton of work. He's a secondary poke threat in that last game. He was getting just tons of siege damage, tons of immortal damage, just chucking out the oil and flames from far away. I would expect to see most likely just the Rhaegar picked up again, but I really think that if Diamond Hands wants to beat Storm, they're going to have to do something weird. That's kind of been how they've been winning their games against the better teams anyways. I don't think Malthael is... I don't think that's it. I think they need to have a better strategy prepared, because in a standard 5v5, Storm just looks like the better team in straight up meta 5v5 gameplay.
Well, we kick things off with another first pick Rhaegar on the side of Diamond Hands. Do you think, Justin, and I'll throw this right back to you, do you think that Diamond Hands could run something similar like they did in Volskaya Foundry with the Nazebo Zul sort of deal, or do they have to really innovate even further in this best of 5 series?
I think that would be fine. They ran that comp really well on Volskaya, and there's no reason why that type of comp wouldn't work just as well, if not maybe even better on Tomb. With the tight little rotations where you can portal between the lanes. I would definitely like to see them pick it up here. If they don't pick it up here, it will likely be banned. The only downside to that is with already picking the Rhaegar doesn't have any hard CC, and so he doesn't necessarily provide what you would typically want with a Medivh comp in that slot.
That is really true. I mean, you get you get the Earthgrass Totem at level 16, but even then, like, you have to get to 16, which Tomb usually goes to 20, but we could also see speed runs. But Rhaegar, Diablo, Medivh, Grubby, thoughts?
Very similar, right, to what Storm Esports faced earlier today. They also had Lucio to deal with that. We may see Zarya coming out. That game, there was a Vala, though, so maybe there will not be the double support. Also curious to see if Storm will get Muradin again, where Haymaker is their choice again into a portal. But this is an early unveiling of what Diamond Hands is holding in their hands. The strat that they're going to be going with. Everything else is really secondary. Any kind of average second, like solo laner, will be immaterial as to really determining how Storm wants to play this. It could be a Hager, it could be a Haka, it doesn't matter as much. Big question is, what is going to be the DPS for Diamond Hands? Could be a Lunara, honestly. It could be some other things as well. Some kind of hyper carry. There isn't too big of a list. Cassia, Lunara are options. They will be banning that Zarya. This is where that memory comes in, and they say, yeah, that was an issue. Speed barrier saving of Medivh.
Yeah, that's not going to be available to the side of Storm Esports as we continue to evolve in this draft. There was that Nazebo ban as well, and I mean, yeah, I think it's just Storm Esports just recognizing that the Nazebo was a critical tool to win on Volskaya Foundry in the previous week before our break. So we're gonna get some more picks here, and Justin, I'm curious to get your thoughts as we have a Junkrat and a Nubarak for the side of Storm. One of the first Junkrats we've seen from them almost all season, I feel.
Yeah, they are typically the team to ban it. Junkrat, very good into Medivh. That is kind of one of the best counters into Medivh. Any displacement is good. They also have the Cocoon, which is pseudo-displacement in a sense. If you're able to Cocoon and then kind of move where people are in the fight by just sort of fighting past it, they come out in a bad spot. But picking the Anub, I think, is a little bit strange. It's not the best into Medivh in general. He might struggle a bit burrowing in, having his combo negated, and then just being kind of trapped in the enemy team. They do pick up Asadar Rexar, which is quite strange. They don't have very high, just raw damage output. Asadar is not exactly the hyper carry that you'd expect with Medivh. They will have a pretty good wombo combo out of the ley line, so that could be kind of what they're playing for. But against Lucio, that might be a little bit difficult, and Rutzo could pick anything to kind of change this last pick. It could be a Falstad, it could be a Maiev. So he's going to feel pretty comfortable going into relatively light damage output on the side of Diamond Hands. Both these comps are pretty strange overall, honestly. Like, they both kind of lack a lot of just sustained single target damage that you normally expect. Junkrat is the ranged for Storm, and Tassadar is the ranged for Diamond Hands. Neither team has, like, a real clear weakness, I guess. They both have pretty good wave clear. They both kind of can kill the enemy tank for the most part. You have Maiev, who does pretty well into Diablo. Aside from that, though, they don't have a ton. I think overall, Storm getting the Yrel is actually probably the most important part of this draft. For Diamond Hands, if they were able to have a Yrel with the Medivh, I think it would make their Tassadar pick make a little bit more sense, and they'd be a little bit more flexible, but I'm not sure if Rexar Tassadar is going to really be enough damage to kill anything on the side of Storm Esports, and they don't really seem to have a really clear power spike where Diamond Hands is going to just get out of control like they do with the Nazebo, where they scale into late and just win the game. So both comps are a little bit weird, but I'd be slightly favoring Storm Esports.
Well, thank you, Justin, as always, for the in-depth analysis, and we'll see you after Tomb of the Spider Queen, because on the left-hand side, we are loaded on into Diamond Hands. In the blue, Caesar Salad on the Diablo, Nintori to play the Rexar, got Filth on the Medivh, Kelsier on the Tassadar, Valimar on the Rhaegar, and of course, as always, Misha will be played by Misha. Over in the red, we got the members of Storm Esports looking to continue their dominance in this series, or at least their dominance today on HeroesCCL. We've got BBJ on the Lucio, Lauber on the Nubrak, IBTings on the Junkrat, Dequaz on the Yrel, and Rutzo to play the Maiev. I say dominance. They did. It was a 3-1 first series, but honestly, Storm Esports just looking strong today. It's really, I wouldn't say it's an uphill climb for Diamond Hands, but it's Diamond Hands are really the ones who need to start showing up for these engagements, these fights, and I'm going to lean into a Storm Esports win as well. I do think there's opportunities for Diamond Hands to make some cool plays. Force Wall Tassadar, Caesar Salad charges into that, Leyline Seals, Apocalypse, Earthgrass Totem. There's a lot of cool things here, but Grubby, we haven't heard from you, and I want to get your thoughts on these drafts.
Kadarin Amulet. I think that's the first time we see AA level 1 talent quests for Tassadar and CCL. I'm a big Tassadar fan, so I hope that that's right. I think I would remember. It's mostly been Psystorm, which is the bonus range and mana return on Psystorm. Helps with the mana sustain. And it's just the safest but most boring talent as well. Then you've got the Q stacking. It's the most dangerous talent to use, the Q, because there's the wind-up.
Yeah.
And especially when you get greedy about stacking it, which generally pro players are pretty good about not doing. But he goes with the auto-attack talent. This talent has no synergy with Archon. Because, well, what it does is, since it's the first time in CCL, if you stay on a high resonance beam charge for long enough, which he is now, he's at 100, there's like a decay time of 6 seconds. For every second you stay on 100 resonance charge, you will gain a second of stack. He's got 31 out. When he gets halfway off his mark, his auto attack bounces to a second nearby target. And nearby, it's fairly far. It's allowed to be quite far, like Probius auto attack range or more. And then when you get the full stacks, you hit 3 people. And it's for 75% of your base damage, but still, that's 2.5 times as much basic auto attack damage as his baseline when it's fully stacked. It also kind of leans into a Nubarak, since a Nubarak has more spell armor, but no physical armor until level 20 potentially. And he's going with the full AA talent. He's going to get shields, he's going to hit lots of people with it, and then it spawns a Psy Storm at level 7 when you auto-attack people. So it also gains bonus range. So he's going to be able to hit a Nubarak from really far away, and then a noob has to choose, go away, create space. If he doesn't go away, but he goes in, you've got Medivh to Force of Will Tassadar, who would be the most likely attack target. So it's just long-range, consistent, niggling pressure, really irritating, good damage, and through hitting a Nubarak, it's going to bounce towards Lucio and then to Junkrat, that kind of thing. So, and everyone gets slowed as well, besides damage. So it's all pretty cool. Cool to see that talent coming out. Just wanted to intro it, as people will be wondering, why is there that beam that's connecting everyone?
There's a lot to that talent, and thank you for breaking that down, because we don't see this. I mean, typically it is that Psystorm build, as you mentioned, safe, good for wave clear. And I will say this, I'm a shock ray guy. I go Q build. I'm a little greedy, but at level, what is it, 16, I believe it is, you get Thermal Lance, and you deal significant damage at that point. So that's usually what I go for, but that's here nor there, because we are here in HeroesCCL. BBJ is going to take a bit of damage, Concussion Mine to save. And I have to say, IB Ting so far with the Concussion Mine angling and placement has been fairly good. The Steel Traps have been good zoning tools. And we are looking at a frag launcher build for IB Tings. And Rutzo very low on mana, so I might have to back away. Turn availability exists for both teams. And 7 talent tier just about to arrive on both sides, as the rotations have been pretty equal between both. Wait, I'm looking at Laba right now, and I'm holding my breath for a second, because I was like, is he going to get all in? No, Dequaza comes in with a nice Righteous Hammer. Umbro binds. There's a lot of displacement, and as we talked about on Curse Hollow Grubby, from the side of Storm to deal with this Medivh. Umbral binds, you have the chain CC from Lobbers and Nubrak, as well as Dequaza with these Righteous Hammers, even BBJ with the Sound Wave. So we'll see how this all works out, as Lobber goes in for a Burrow Charge, won't be able to connect onto anyone. We do have Diablo, Caesar Salad, putting some pressure onto a few heroes, but this is a Diablo. He's not going to really find a kill on his own in this situation, as he's also a Fire Stomp build, building out the souls at 90, actually almost done right now. Speaking of stacks, we do have 26 on the Medivh.
Also, some stats here for the win rates. Rexar's at 7-1. 7 wins, 1 loss this season. Maiev, for her part, 5 wins and 9 losses. Based on those stats, Diamond Hands equalizing this map, on this map.
All right, Lobber did say a 3-1, so this could be it, but I honestly feel like a lot of these engagements are just like, there's an engagement, but there's no actual real threat. Like, look at BBJ's health, he's fine. Look at Caesar Salad's health, he's fine. Like, we get these engagements and these big blow-up moments, but it feels like nobody is gonna die, ever. Well, and I might be eating those words soon, because BBJ is getting low. Lobber's in a very bad spot. He's stunned to oblivion, gets a little shielding. Concussion Mine saves the day, with Lobber being at 60-something HP. Nintori will fall, and that is gonna be first blood to the side of Storm Esports.
Lauber gets away with under 100 life. Nintori's life gets extended by 10 seconds, but at the end of the day, still gets taken down. He had a cute dodge on Yarel's jump, but in the end, he did end up going down. So Storm Esports gets that first kill. Very important, as that unlocks the potential for them to get level 10 earlier. First Web Weaver turn-in. Ancient stats from the Pro League many, many moons ago showed that the first turn-in has a 60% chance or more to win the game, whether that's because they're already winning and they're going to keep winning, or because that first turn-in actually gives you that much advantage. Take it for what you will, but whoever gets that has the much better chance of taking the game.
There used to be a stat like that for Curse Hollow. It was like first team to get first curse, and there was also a stat for like first team to get catapults. Now, granted, catapults back then only spawned when you took down a keep. It wasn't when you didn't get the periodic catapult spawned after you take down the fort. So it's a little bit different stats, but I remember that one from Curse Hollow. Cocoon onto the Tasser on the left-hand side. Diablo is the target. Wow. He does have full souls, and that's 25 gems gone, thrown into the toilet, flushed, and they will never be seen again, ever.
Yep, those are gone, not picked up, and I love what Storm is doing there. Oh, big moves into Tassadar and Valamar. There's an Apocalypse ley line, only naps Junkrat, no real follow-up possible. Tassadar does a shock ray, but it doesn't really hurt him too much. But that was a really cool containment disc by Rutzo to freeze out Diablo as the portal dissipated. Portal is closing. and he was inside that prison. And that's another cool way to deal with Portal. I like that containment, this counterplay. They bullied Diablo big time.
And Diablo HeroesCCL does not have souls. He does have that Firestomp build, so him kind of playing in this situation is going to build up a few. And speaking of building up stacks, we are going to see Medivh finishing out his Arcane Rift baseline. So if he dies, he will not lose those stacks anymore. He can play a little bit more aggressive, and that's typically what we see from Medivh players at this point, so they can be portaling in and trying to dive into the backline. But the portals now have been more defensive than anything, as we are going to see this Webweaver phase in bottom get a fort, and it's not done just yet in top as Caesar pushes around the Urel. Cocoon will connect. There is going to be a containment disc on the bottom of our screen on the side of Kelsier, and I guess he's not dead. Lauber has no mana, needs to back away. He almost has no health either.
Yeah, no health, no mana, taking 4 shots, and he just walks away because of all the other pressure. They quasi creating space and whatnot. Diamond Hands couldn't follow up. And these, oh man, this residual Webweaver still getting so much value because Diamond Hands decided to go top as 5. They really needed to kill to make that sacrifice worth it. Otherwise, you've just got one dude going bottom lane. Didn't pay off for them.
This is also another turn availability. Got Filth goes for the Leyline Seal, connecting onto just Junkrat. Junkrat does have the Dirty Trickster at level 7. That is not going to be triggered because the Leyline Seal is a stop. And what triggers the Dirty Trickster, or the Total Mayhem, is going to be stuns, roots, or damage when Junkrat drops below 50% of his health. And Total Mayhem, as a reminder, 12-second cooldown. 13 talent here, the level lead over the set of Storm. They're looking for this turn-in and more pressure on the map. Actually,
Balance. Yep,
do you want to jump into like Storm comms maybe right here?
Yep, they're always funny.
All right, into Storm we go.
Can we look Caesar?
I'm cooking mid. I'm
Bring on
Medivh cocoon. Can we kill Medivh?
Scared?
Rega. Yeah.
Trap.
Think about the lane line. I'm ball blocking.
No gems.
Just push.
Don't let him get these gems. Don't let him.
We should push. Much better than us.
We can go get mid too.
Rexan maybe is paying alone, but it's fine if they do. Can I
He's on it, yeah.
don't think we can
I guess we just pay.
kill anybody.
Yeah, we pay.
I have 31.
Our hearts
Probably
are
get it in.
30.
I'll look for the Medivh.
They're gonna do their own hard camp and defend with it, I guess.
I'm paying mine.
Yeah, I have no tab.
Might
17
stall me here.
seconds.
Might stall me here.
Can we pay bottom?
I can pay bottom, I can pay
Kevin is paying
bottom.
bottom. Oh, they took their hard already.
thirds,
Nice. Yeah. I have tap inside.
Go play bottom, Kevin, I think.
I don't have tire yet.
Yeah, just wait till Kevin kills bot.
They're gonna fight us here,
We
maybe.
go on Diablo, and I'm gonna disc him early. And
Careful
like,
bottom as well. Careful here. They're gonna look to fight inside the easy camp.
Ley line's up.
Yeah,
They're
back
yeah,
up.
Okay. We can play aggro here then.
Like I
Oh,
disc
they have to go
and,
top. They have to go top, kinda.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
kill
bottom.
one.
Rex arrow was top. Yeah.
I mean bottom.
We can threaten dive mid.
Yeah, I'm chilling.
Our spider is goofing actually.
Yeah, David's going bottom, I think. Yeah.
No.
We just go bottom after this, maybe. It's pretty push
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Kinda need the wave as well, though.
okay,
I can auto it a couple times. Let's go bottom.
want the
Yeah.
gems.
Look at me. Look here. Okay, got
That's
sense. And he's 13. Knowing this thing.
Careful, Kevin.
I'm fine.
I'm looking to cocoon
the
Medivh if he
totem.
lands. Not here, though. Kill this thing.
Don't stack too much.
Yeah, it's fine.
We
Like,
got
we don't
16
have
already,
yet
so-
keep. We get 16. We just run out. Careful,
Yeah,
Leyline.
mid
They're gonna
wall,
look on Lutzo. Just run out. Nice. Care mid. They're gonna Leyline here, maybe. We should back from here. This
Kevin
is not a
around.
good spot. Yeah, careful
Can we
portal
pay
here.
all the gems?
As we jump out of the Storm Esports comms, it's always good to hear more than just what they're doing in the moment in shot calling. It's even planning ahead. You actually heard Rutsa there talk a couple times about, I'm going to containment disc Diablo and we can move past or something like that. And then we also had, I'm look at me, Labo was saying as he was burrowing in onto Tassadar. And that wasn't, I don't even think they were actually aiming to get a kill there, Grubby. I think it was more or less just to, and as Laber said, got cleanse. Like he was just trying to bait the cleanse.
Resource
45
consumption so that you've got more opportunities later. Really nice. And that constant ley line awareness is really important. It's how I would expect comms to sound like, even though every member can remind themselves as well. Just kind of getting that on echo repeat makes everyone super careful not to group up.
Yep.
Reminds me a lot of when Zeratul was super meta and super strong with Void Prison. and it was always like, don't group for VP.
Yeah.
Back then, we didn't have it set up to listen to comms, but I imagine it might have sounded something like this, and it's cool to hear that from this great playing team, Storm Esports, that constant awareness. It may not happen, but just saying they might be looking for lay makes everyone just that much more careful.
And it is just good, just like the passivity of just mentioning it to your team, like, okay, just don't clump. And it's just like, okay, yes, because we all just start to fall into these patterns and stuff like that. You're not even realizing that you're clumping up again. And kind of like right here, this is a bit of a clump up. Granted, they are trying to play within the bruiser camp for the extra spell armor while it was available. Now, Webweaver through mid lane will be cleared out, but that allows bottom lane to push up, and we have Webweaver plus Siege Giants shredding through a keep. Dequaza steps forward with the Righteous Hammer to knock back Caesar's Salad. We do have Rutsa with a few fan of knives here and there. IB is going to be dropping in a little bit of frag launcher damage as the Concussion Mine will split Diablo. Leyline Seal coming out. I thought I heard it. It might have actually been thrown onto a cooldown because of the containment disc. Either way, Ancestor Healing comes out. Apocalypse was used. The Boars are unleashed. That is going to be a high five from Lucio. Dequaza should be able to back away. One keep achieved. Leyline Seal actually used right there. What's the follow-up? Lobber stuck against a wall. Ardent Defender used by the Urel as well. Caesar Sal getting very low here, but it's going to be the Anubrak who gets slammed, jammed, and squished into the wall. Rutso low as well. High fives, and that's going to be a Spirit of Vengeance to blink away. BBJ should be able to amplify the speed, and this is going to be Storm losing Anubrak, finding a keep, and pushing the map up quite a bit. But Diamond Hands got a lot of gems to turn in, and they do have the availability.
They're sending just Rexar back. Nintori's going to clear mid, where no additional siege damage was being dealt. So many gems, like you said, 2 consecutive ones, possibly. Finally, that first kill there for Diamond Hands. BBJ did a great job with high five so far. I like the isolation that was done on Anubarak, the force wall behind it, and the shadow charge into the wall, but it didn't stun for some reason. Probably because BBJ hit him with an high five again. As level 20 comes closer, high five will be up even more often. Mixing fire coming out, reducing its cooldown from 20 to 14 seconds per person. This is Diamond Hands' moment. They need to get more results here. Look, look at that laser that's hitting.
Yeah.
I must say, not for a lot of damage, but it's cute. Okay, let's see what's gonna happen here.
Good Apocalypse combo. Shock Ray comes in. BBJ needs to high five away as Lobber's going to be in a bit of an awkward spot. Cocoon does go out onto the Tassadar here as Retzo's looking for a massive Umbral Bind. Does pull Caesar Salad in. Caesar Salad's tanking tower shots, reducing his armor. Ancestor Healing will come out, and Caesar Salad is okay for now. That high five at level 20 is going to reduce that Ancestor Healing if Lucio, BBJ, is able to land it onto said target in time. But it's going to be a Webweaver phase that yields what, Grubby? Some siege through bottom, a lot more through mid, and top lane fort will fall. So not too bad to the side of Diamond Hands, but they still have a bit of a mountain to climb, as it is going to be a level and some change still in the experience deficit to the side of Diamond Hands, whereas Storm Esports got a little bit less than, or a little bit more than half a level to go for that 20 talent tier advantage. But 109 gems, we're looking at potentially 3 turn-ins if they can get them, and Nintori will get the second.
55 gems exactly. Nice job hoarding those gems. And like you said, yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Do you want to jump into Diamond Hands? Why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
Into Diamond Hands we go.
Maybe I lay land this guy. I don't think he knows.
Urel's bot. Can we collapse him?
Is that gonna be 20? Can we do this?
Maybe portal on Urel? Do you have it?
Sure.
Here?
No, I think it's crazy. Actually.
Oh wait, actually it's big.
Maybe it's big.
I wall him in.
Leyline. Oh, huge. They don't have
Yeah.
hit No charge.
Okay.
It's fine.
I use
We gotta
boards.
chill. We gotta chill.
Can we get the soak? Medivh needs to grab the soak everywhere.
Triple soak. Yeah.
Sure.
Honestly, I think we just AFK saw her on this bruiser camp immediately.
Yeah. I'm getting out.
Although if they see Medivh on the map, they couldn't bait.
Be careful, yeah.
They
I can,
probably
I'll leave
boss,
you
right?
guys- I can leave you guys a portal.
Yeah, let him Medivh.
Do we want to?
I mean, if they boss, it's fine. We just D it.
They almost have turn too, though.
We go bot camp? Is it crazy? Bot camp.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, we
Or-
go.
Boss in, boss in. Oh wait, should we trade the turn?
Yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
We need to turn.
40. We need Medivhs though. We need Medivhs.
Oh, fuck. Alright, I'm coming.
It's kind of fucked.
I'll be there, it's fine.
Okay.
I get it.
I'm tagging bot then. What are the chances they go on us here?
Yeah, it's Storm, so
Not the kind of same future sight we're seeing from the side or hearing from the side of Storm, because it was almost like Diamond Hands forgot that they had another turn in all of a sudden, because they were like, let's get camp, and they're like, wait, we can turn in. It's like Medivh still has gems, so they do get the turn in. They're gonna have to defend at top lane, but this Webweaver phase in mid and bottom should get some decent value, specifically through bottom with that Siege Giant camp. But Grubby, the fight continues into top lane. It all might be for naught if Diamond Hands lose this out.
It's all going to be about this fight. Caesar Salad, quite a tanky target here. Apocalypse comes out. How many targets is he going to hit? None. High Five is going to take care of that. No problemo. Still, resources spent from both sides. I think Diamond Hands is happy with that because they're looking to just not die and get 20. So when the level 20 resources are used by Storm, that means that they won't be as eager to try to like all in and win here. If they get any kills there, it could be over. So I think that was a good trade for Diamond Hands. They're pretty much just going to get bot forward out of turn-in and weeps. Mid is mitigated. All in all, a super expensive way to play the game. Diamond Hands now left with no gems at all, pretty much. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 10. And all the Web Weavers did is just to buy time, just to tread water. Now, 1 keeps against 3. Diamond Hands is up against it. Map is against them 30 to 70, if not worse. But they'd be happy for any fight with less than 50% win chance. Even a 40-60 would be fine for them. Unless they're greedy, they're just going to try to play this slowly and wait for a good opportunity.
This does give them the treading of the water, does give the Diamond Hands crew the opportunity to hit their 20 talents here. Got the Medivh cheats, all that good stuff, Twilight Archon, and the fight might break out right here. Rutzo looking for the Umbral Bound, but the Earthcraft's Totem will slow things down. Lucio speeding onto Tassadar, who is going to use his Shadow Walk from level 13. Remember when Shadow Walk was like baseline with Tassadar, basically?
Oh yeah, what's his basic ability?
That was kind of interesting. And then and then he also gave shields to people. Crazy
and
times.
Buildings.
And I forgot about that.
Old haunted mines with permanent shields on 10, 20 buildings just to prepare for the golem. Epic.
Well, here comes the Red Webweaver phase for the side of Storm Esports. I think they had to turn in 65 gems to get this, and I'm looking through some of these questing talents. Everything's finished out. The only thing to actually note is that we're like, 15 stacks away from the Junkrat finishing out the Taste for Explosions, which he'll just be maxed out at 40% frag launcher damage, but the Umbral Bind will pull Kelsier in. Leyline Seal will be utilized. Now, watch that cooldown on Leyline Seal. We do have Temporal Flux, which is 2 forms of cooldown between auto attacks onto enemies as well as the Arcane Rifts onto enemy heroes. Containment Disc onto Diablo. Is he the target? He has full souls, protection status. There's a lot of just all in onto Caesar Salad, who does get the Farseer's Blessing, so you're going to see 2 triggers of the Ancestral go out. Valimar, the new target. Apocalypse will be used. Storm Esports is going to lose BBJ to Caesar Salad with the Shadow Charge into the wall, but let's take stock of what's happening on the minimap. Top lane, pressed into core. Bottom lane, arriving to core. This may not end the game.
Well, actually, Diamond Hands is doing what they need to. They didn't take a single point of damage on the core. They got 2 kills now.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive. Twilight Archon is still active. Can he keep it active all the way to the core? This was such a good defense by Diamond Hands.
Yes.
I loved how much damage Caesar Salad was taking into him. Then he got the Ancestral. Storm switched target to Rhaegar. But the Ancestral, again, with that splash damage, saved Rhaegar himself. Then it looks like he was about to get nabbed by some big CC, but he actually bit another player from mobility and got away from trouble. Valimar moved great there. He was exactly where he needed to be every time. Caesar Salad as well. It allowed Diamond Hands a lot more space on the backline to get some crucial kills. Caesar Salad finally got that double stun on Lucio, and that finished him. Mayev's still dead for 15. Maybe Diamond Hands can take down the mid keep here. Let's see if that window is big enough. Maybe it isn't, but they're so far away from enough gems that they would be loath to turn around at this point.
There's a lot of defensive factors too from the side of Storm Esports with the concussion mines from Junkrat. We also have some Righteous Hammers, the little bit of CC from the Anubrek, as well as the sound wave from said Lucio. Looking just around the minimap right now as well. Boss is up in 14 seconds. And I'm seeing them float around over here, and I wonder if Storm Esports are going to sell the idea that they're going to boss.
Well, they haven't shown on the map yet. Keep that in mind. We see this,
Yes.
but they haven't shown yet, so they're going to...
Tassadar should see. Yeah, Tassadar does see this,
Tassadar.
but that's going to be a huge burrow in from the Anubrak. They're going to look for some big damage. The Boars are unleashed by the Rexar. Kelsier gets hit with the Ancestor Healing, and he gets the Farseer Blessing second tick as he does get through the portal. Riptire comes out from the Junkrat. Medivh is going to be losing a lot of health. Valimar is going to get bursted down, and that's going to be Storm Esports finding one. Caesar Salad has the souls. 5-second death timer will be triggered right there. A double kill to the side of Storm Esports, who are maybe looking to go for boss now.
It's not easy for Godfield here, but he did mess up his force of will. He didn't save Tassadar when he was getting all in. It needed the Ancestral. Maybe he didn't have it on cooldown. Then he force of willed himself after taking Junkrat Explosion, which meant that it didn't do anything, and it didn't save Rhaegar either. At this point, 5v4, it's looking real hard for Diamond Hands. They're going to try and salvage this by all-inning Lucio, and Diablo does get Lucio once again, but 2 members will go down on the other side. Now, the question is, with Lucio dead, can you still all-in and win at the core? I would imagine yes, though the healer is fairly important with this many members, and just Rhaegar coming back. I do believe Storm has done it, Bahamut.
With Catapults dealing 912 structural damage and the Storm Esports roster minus BBJ making it to core, this is going to be map number 2, Tomb of the Spider Queen, going over to the side of Storm Esports, who have proven twice today that Medivh Diablo is not an easy free win. Valimar gonna go down right there, gonna have a little bit better KDA ratio for the side of Storm Esports, and they knock down Diamond Hands once again, or not one, well, I guess once again, because wasn't this the same situation, Grubby, during the regulation season or group stage, where wasn't Storm Esports against Diamond Hands and they got reverse swept, like, at this point?
Yeah, Tomb of the Spider Queen and Sky Temple were won by Storm Esports first, and then Diamond Hands took it back 3-2 on Towers of Doom, Battlefield, and Cursed Hollow. So yeah, 2-0. We've all been here before.
We have been here before, and you know who we've got back with us to start talking about what we've seen on Tomb of the Spider Queen? We got Justing with us. Justing, my friend, how did you enjoy that match? Was it everything you expected it to be? Did you see through the veil that was these 2 drafts?
Yeah, it was good. I wasn't quite sure what the comps did, and they sort of showed it there. Diamond Hands definitely struggling through the early game, as Storm Esports kind of just taking just everything on the map in the early game. Something I want to point out with the stats we saw is Ibitings. He did go for the stacking quest at level 4. He got a lot of stacks, and if we saw in the damage, he did 130,000 hero damage. When the highest for Diamond Hands, their hyper carry auto attack Tassadar only did 55k. So more than doubling the hyper carry for Medivh comp on the Junkrat. Just really impressive from Ibitings, being able to constantly put out that damage, and that alone sort of keeps Storm in the game scaling-wise at level 20. Overall, the level 20s should be a lot better for Diamond Hands. They have the permanent Archon, which gives them a real true hyper carry at that point. They have the Boars with the stun, they have the Leyline sheets with the level 16 on Medivh, so they should have really strong level 20s. But the one thing that really keeps that is having so many stacks on the Junkrat when you have the big grenades. This play here was, after all the gem economy things happened, this play by Storm was what won them the game. This was crucial that they make a play like this. They make it look like they're going to go to boss, which was really, really smart by them, knowing that the enemy team was most likely doing their knights. They feign like they're going to go to boss, and that means that Medivh has to go check it, and that's why they're able to get that engage, where they do only kill Rhaegar. If Medivh is there, taking a 5v5 in a choke like that would typically be really bad for them, but Medivh wasn't there at the start of the fight because Medivh had to go scout the boss. And so that's how they're able to get that engage 5v4 with no Medivh for a little bit, and that's how Rhaegar is able to go down. And then that one pick allows them to play for boss for real. They come up here and Diamond Hands feels like they need to contest this, which they probably do, and they have to contest 4v5. Obviously, Storm Esports not going to lose a 4v5, especially when the enemy team doesn't have their healer. They destroy them in the 5v4 top, and they win the game. It was really just Storm for the most part from start to finish. They won all of the early game up until level 16. That's when Diamond Hands finally got their first turn-in, was post level 16. But when Diamond Hands got turn-ins, they didn't really get a whole lot. Storm Esports, with their early advantage with the turn-ins, was able to get bottom keep just through turn-ins alone. They were able to get the boss, which got top keep, and they basically just suffocated Diamond Hands in the game. And I'd like to see Diamond Hands maybe be a little bit more aggressive in the next game, because it feels like they're sort of letting Storm kind of take control of the pace of the game.
That is very correct, Justin. I think you nailed that perfectly, because the case could be said about that earlier today as well, up against the Oxygen in the Oxygen matchup, because we even heard in the comms, Storm Esports, they're zooming around the map, and that was on Tomb of Spider Queen. I think Storm really communicates well in their rotations. Their future sight that we hear in comms constantly is very good, whether it be look out for Medivh, what are we going to do next? Like, they're not living in, they're definitely living in the moment and watching out for certain things, but they're also thinking about what are they going to do next? What's the plan ahead of the next plan? So Storm Esports, they are looking like the team that could potentially go into our double elimination bracket next weekend, but they still have to beat Diamond Hands on one more map. And as always, we're going to take a short little break. I want to remind you of 2 special commands in chat. The first one being ! prize pool. We're at $11,555.55. Maybe we could get that a little closer to 12,000, or maybe break 12,000. Because if we do break 12,000, Grubby, what are we going to get?
I'm going to reveal which melody my song is going to be sang to. So which song it's a parody towards. It's about Illidan, but what is the melody? 12,000?
Okay.
And I'll let you know.
So if we can hit that by the end of today, or as soon as possible, that would be really great. We always appreciate your support. ! Prize pool. And then the second command I want you to hit during this short little break, so you can fill out the survey as well, is ! Awards. We are doing an award show for HeroesCCL Season 3. It's going to be taking place on January 29th. There's a few nominations and stuff that has to happen first, so make sure you hit that command, go over to the Google survey and fill it out. It will fill the time in our short little break, and when we come back, we're going to find out, will Storm Esports knock out Diamond Hands and move into the double elimination, or will Diamond Hands start that reverse sweep? Don't go anywhere. This is HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Good afternoon, and welcome back to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name is Bahamut, and I'm still joined by the amazing Grubby and Justing. And thank you to whoever donated during the break. I just saw that ticker just go up a little bit further, and we're getting closer and closer to that $12,000 for another reveal for the Grubby parody song. We know it's an Illidan, but we don't know what song he's going to be kind of playing off of, so maybe we'll find out today. Hopefully we'll find out today. But either way, we are in the midst of our second best of 5 of the day, our 4th best of 5 of the weekend, and this is the most critical one because the winner of this series will go into our double elimination bracket next weekend, going up against 30K in the upper portion, or I guess the upper portion, because there's 2 parts of the bracket. Regardless,
First semifinals of the winner bracket. Yeah.
Thank you for saving me, Grubby, as always. But I gotta ask you guys, before we start getting into map stuff for our third map, I'm gonna quickly just kind of check the temperature right now. I'm not gonna ask what you did on your break, but I'm curious, how are you feeling about this series so far, Justin? Do you think it can go all the way, or do you think Storm could maybe just shut it down?
I'm worried for Diamond Hands.
Okay.
I think if they want to reverse sweep like they've done previously, they're going to have to bring out something we haven't seen yet, or something a little bit better than what they've shown in the past 2 games. I'd like to see them play a little bit more aggressively. Right now, Storm is just on fire, and I'm a little worried that Diamond Hands might be getting burnt.
It's the water is boiling, and don't know if Diamond Hands can get out of it quick enough. But Grubby, thoughts on the matchup right now?
Storm is looking unstoppable.
Okay, simply put, and I would agree with both of you, and I really think that Diamond Hands do have to innovate. We're going to find out where they could potentially innovate and what could potentially be the final map of today. We are going to be seeing Storm Esports choose to take us to Alterac Pass because the members of Diamond Hands have opted in for first pick priority as the losing team. Now, Alterac Pass, a large map, and of course, got to get you those stats as you always like to find out on the win-loss records. Diamond Hands, 1-1, 50% win rate on this map. The members of Storm Esports, same thing. But they're 50%, but they're 2-2. So a little bit more experience on the map. It is a large map here, Grubby. Played very similar to Cursed Hollow, at least when it comes to the rotations, it feels.
Yeah.
It's sorry. It's a little. That was a little loose on the topic.
I think so. Yeah. You kind of need 2 solo laners on this map.
True.
And while I used to advocate that you must have 2 melee solo laners, we have seen some range solo laning coming out in CCL as well, if that happens to fit the draft. So we have a little bit of a disconnect. One player, I think Lauber, just dropping out there. His connection failing him for a bit. Hopefully we can get him back soon. But yeah, definitely need someone that can take down the Knolls repeatedly, very quickly, very often, every minute. then you need someone that can do top lane that isn't the same person. So you can have Hogger top lane, but then he can't go to the bottom. And then, yeah, that's important. Boss control is important. Usually it's the Hogger camp that ends up winning you mid-fort and mid-gate, which opens up the objective so that you can take it without the enemy having a fallback point to the fountain, towers, fort, healing, and coming back. So the null camp controls the objective via mid. The bosses, they batter down the gates in the top lane and the bottom lane. So those are the two win condition lanes, but you need mid down for that armor debuff on the core. 2 keeps is a requirement to finish the game here.
I have seen, like, I want to say like one game, and I don't think it was on CCL, but I feel like I've seen one game in the years I've been casting Heroes of the Storm and when Alterac Pass was in, that a team actually ended with only 1 keep going down, but that was a later game, so the death timers are higher, so the keep goes down, they win a big team fight, and said team is able to just take down core at that point. But we're loaded in. We've got Drekthar's army on the right-hand side, and we have got Stormpike Vandar in the blue. That's going to be Diamond Hands and Storm Esports. But we're here into Alterac Pass Draft, and Justin, I've let you sit there and kind of think about all this. I want to get your thoughts and expectations for Alterac Pass Draft.
Yeah, something else you need is someone who can take boss easily on this map. So if you're Dino, that's Li Ming or Tracer apparently, you can just solo the boss. Not expecting to see that.
I forgot.
Yeah, not expecting to see that from these teams, but it has been done. We've seen that it is possible. The Anubarak is always a high priority on this map, as is the Johanna. The Johanna has been banned out, so Anubarak, Rhaegar, and Stukov are all kind of the big priority picks. Stukov being banned out leaves the option for Storm to either leave both Rhaegar and Anubarak up, or to ban one of them. So they're going to have to make a pretty difficult choice here if they want to leave both up, or if they want to ban one of them and give the other one to Diamond Hands.
Grubby, I see you really deep in thought there. What are you pondering?
Well, they just beat Rhaegar. Maybe that makes them like a little bit happy about facing it again.
Oh, when it
just
comes,
beat it, right?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, the why no ban under Rhaegar sort of deal.
Yeah, like I was thinking about what Justin's saying, and Rhaegar, are those really the top 2 picks? And they definitely are among it. Junkrat, apparently another one. And Storm is saying we'll get either one of those, right? Anubarak or Rhaegar. I think they're thinking Rhaegar might be picked here. They've just beaten it, which makes them feel better about it. And then they can get Anubarak. With this coming out, I like that quite a bit. BBJ has been damn good on Lucio. Did die a few times every game, but like he's got so many saves. Sometimes he dies because he saved someone else, and he offers so much to the team. I like Diamond Hands not going for the low-hanging fruit. One of those 2 picks. Does mean that Storm could take, if they want to, Anubarak, Rhaegar themselves.
And we even had that interview last night after the Chili Mountain game where BBJ had just played Rhaegar, and if memory serves me correct, after that game, he had 30,000 more healing than the opposing side. I think it was like a Deckard Cain, if I'm not mistaken. So it was really just some supreme play from BBJ on the Rhaegar, and even in the interview, he was like, oh my god, it's such a god-tier hero. So he's going to be back onto that. We'll see how he fares into the Lucy on the opposing side, but Justin, a few more picks are going to be coming out, so I have to, of course, get your thoughts on what's evolved in the first half of our draft.
So the Rhaegar makes a lot of sense. It's really strange to pick the Lucio over either the Rhaegar or the Anubarak. Giving Anubarak back to Diamond Hands here on the 2-3 seems to be a bit of a mistake for me. They do get the Hogger, who's quite good on this map. He is able to take the camp quickly, the null camp, and he's just overall just pretty strong in general, but he hasn't really been getting prioritized too highly in any of these drafts today. So to see them take the Hogger, I thought that was going to be an easy Anubarak Rhaegar 1-2, and had they gotten that, I would think that the draft was nearly sealed for Storm Esports. I do still like the Hogger. It's not bad by any means, but giving Anubarak over to Diamond Hands, I feel like it's almost rewarding them for taking the Lucio first pick, being able to get either of those 2 picks with the Lucio.
Now, let me just continue. I want to actually get your thoughts on that Viking ban. Is this kind of like a safety measure, or is this like a definite Viking that could be coming out from Diamond Hands with what they've picked up so far?
I think it's just that they don't want to play against any cheese at all from Diamond Hands. And if you're going to ban one thing away here, it's most likely either the Vikings or the Abathur if you're worried about some crazy macro shenanigans. And they can only ban one, so they are definitely less afraid of the Abathur. That being said, Sylvanas and Anubarak, and Lucio even, all just pair really well with Abathur, so if that's the route that Diamond Hands wants to go, I think they'd be happy to take it if they want to play some kind of cheese composition with the Abathur.
and with a variant coming out as well as the Falstad, so a little bit of global to be able to maneuver around the map. What do you think about all this, Grubby?
Well, variant comes out, which shows some kind of single target blow up potential, but draft doesn't really look like that.
Maybe Smash?
Sometimes variant isn't about single target blow up. It's very much about like, here's a tank that can't die while the rest of us do things on different dimensions of the fight. That's always a possibility. There's also the double healer possibility because variant has that healing buff banner at level 20. That's just insane. Might see an Uther coming out here. Is that enough damage? It is possible. I would actually like Uther coming out here, and it is Rutso. And there's a Genji there, so I feel like with Uther you're super safe.
Could it be a Zarya, maybe? I don't know. I was actually saying... Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe they don't like that double healer on Alterac. Just because the map's so big, you're going to be by yourself for too often. I feel like same draft, BOE, it's going to be an Uther. Maybe Tomb of the Spider Queen might be an Uther, but maybe not here. So, okay, Greymane coming out. So now we've got side pressure possibilities as well.
Yeah, I was liking maybe a Zarya for a potential poke with the particle grenades, but I'll hold my thoughts here. I can get into my thoughts throughout the game. Let's get Justin's thoughts as we are just about to load into map number 3, Alterac Pass.
So Storm Esports composition has a lot better just macro. They have the Rhaegar with a lot of clear. They have the Falstad with the global. They have Greymane who, if left alone, just gets a ton of value, especially with the Rhaegar. That was always a good combo, but now that Rhaegar can take the beefy totem where it takes a ton of shots from structures, that combo becomes even stronger. It's almost similar to a Nubarak Greymane in a sense where you can just drop the totem to tank for you and let Greymane just destroy structures. They do have the Hogger too, so macro on the side of Storm Esports definitely a lot better. Genji doesn't really provide a whole lot for that, and Genji does have pretty good targets to go for with Falstad and Greymane, but it's really risky to do that into a variant. The threat of just the point and click taunt completely shutting you down is definitely very real. So both comps though definitely can win a 5v5. I think it's going to come mostly down to execution. No team has a real clear advantage in the game in the comps.
Well, thank you as always for breaking it down for us as we are loaded onto Alterac Pass, and we'll see you for your post-game analysis as we have got Diamond Hands in the blue, Caesar Salad on the Anubarak, Kelsier to play the Sylvanas, Got Filth on the Genji. Nintori will be on the Blaze and Valimar on the Lucio. Over in the red, we're looking at Storm Esports. Dequaz on the Hogger, BBJ on the Rhaegar, Lauber on the Varian, Rutso on the Greymane, and IBTings on the Falstad. We're one game away. Storm Esports is one game away from getting into the double elimination bracket. This is, quite literally, do or die for the side of Diamond Hands in the next potentially 3 maps, including this one,
Not
obviously.
literally.
Not literally. So, by the way, there's a new clause in the CCL contract. No, but this is basically this is season life on the line for Diamond Hands. It's probably a better way for me to phrase this, as if they lose this map, they will be in 6th place. Storm goes into the double elimination next weekend up against 30K in the first semifinal of the weekend. But all that storyline aside, we still have to see how this plays out. There's some decent damage in the bottom lane from Sylvanas, but Grubby, of course, I need to get your thoughts because I'm calling for a 3-0 Storm Esports win.
Yeah, I like Diamond Hands' comp a little bit more.
Fair.
But I like Storm Esports' momentum so far. So I think 3-0 is the most likely. But as usual, I care less about the prediction, more about the game.
Sure.
Nice early action there by Diamond Hands. They've got 1 tower down already.
Can we talk about how Falstad has 17 stacks a minute in?
What? Wow.
Yeah.
GG.
Yeah, he was literally in bottom lane, and there was 3-4 members stacking on that front gate to get 1 tower. And Falstad, he's got half of his he got half of the quest portion of this uncapped level 1 stacking talent. So that's just huge. I think that's a really, really big win because you're just scaling your damage super early. And speaking of scaling, we're going to be seeing a really quick push into mid lane. Got Filth will be coming in for a little bit of damage. I'm watching Lauber. I'm looking to see what he does with this sword. Does he two-hand the sword, or does he pull out a shield and start taunting? I'm excited to see in like an 1/8 of a level. I want to see some variant screams. Oh, don't you dare!
Bloodlust Twin Blades, I'm just saying, there's a lot of swipes.
I mean, Greymane, Falstad, Hogger, I could see it. I could. No, okay. Mom.
I've never.
Dreams crushed.
I'll say this: I've never seen Twin Blades with Lion's Fang at level 1, Lion's Maul.
No, I haven't either.
It's epic griefing.
It's usually High King's Quest. Yeah.
I don't want the bonus 60 auto attack damage, even though I'm hitting 1,000,000 times per second. I
Healing.
want extra slow so that I can Twin Blades mobility creep on people. It's like a really weird Illidan. But no, not this time. Not this time. Okay, 8 seconds on the Hogger camp on the right. BBJ is already getting in position.
But here's the... Oh, that was a really good impale from Caesar Salad to stop the advancements into the Blaze from the side of Storm Esports. Good read from Caesar Salad, and another camp will be grabbed on the right-hand side. Good timing so far from the side of Storm Esports, as this is going to be 7... the camp on the left-hand side, the Siege camp. Null camp will be up soon. Sylvanas is already in position. Blaze to join in. Now, the question that I pose to these teams, Grubby, is what's the game plan for the map? Is it get 10s, then go for objective, or is it go for objective now, or maybe at 7s? Like, it's always confusing to me when teams want to prioritize this first objective phase.
Yeah, same to me. I think it's a little bit fluid. It's kind of like on Dragonshire, where you start the objective without necessarily the premeditated intent to finish the whole thing. Especially when you have a Nubarak and you just start it. One thing I'm running into on Storm League, when I do the thing with a Nubarak, when I grab the prison camp, everyone always comes and goes for an all-in brawl. And I'm trying to tell them, like, no, you don't have to join me, it's just an option, you now have space on the rest of the map. Never really works. Of course, different in pro play. Caesar Salad can go and channel that, but yeah, I think it's getting some nice damage in. Yeah, I also have trouble sometimes determining when a team goes for that, but you just have to think fluid. I think just not too much preconceived notions and see when there's a possibility. Never go for it if you're actively losing structures on the map. Deal with that first.
Well, structures, you said it earlier today, structures are pretty much the main objective on any map. So absolutely, you want to make sure that your base is protected. Your retreat paths and lines are still available to you as a team. And I'm just skimming around looking at some talents. We actually have Lauber doing a great job on this Lions mod, level 1, 13 out of 25 stacks. Gathering Storm for the Falstead, 24 out of the initial 30 for that 15% jump, as I mentioned. And also, as I've mentioned, it's an uncapped quest. You'll see that number continue to rise over 30, but it just, when he hits that 30, that's a big, nice jump in damage, because it also synergizes extremely well with the Boomerang, reducing spell armor by 15, which is going to be really good. Now, the question I want to throw to you, Grubby, is when we look at 10s, what are you thinking for Greymane? Curse Bullet or go for the Throat? I feel like both are viable here. Some squishy, there's a decent amount of squishies on Diamond Hands, so I'm like, go for the Throat could be that finalizing damage, but also Curse Bullet's a great, 30-second cooldown for 40-some% of Blaze or an Anubarak.
Yeah, I think it might be Curse Bullet.
Okay.
Just because it's really reliable to hit into taunt, and it keeps doing something, and it stresses the healing output of Lucio a little bit. If you go for the Throat, there's a perfectly good chance that you go 2-3 fights without ever finding an opportunity to use it, save for a bit of damage and mobility.
That's fair.
That might be reason enough, though.
Yeah.
But, go for the Throat on Genji doesn't always get paid off either.
Yeah.
I think it will be Bullet, and there we go, it is Bullet. There's also enough follow-up damage from Hager and Falstad and Greymane himself to follow up on that opening up of the Bullet. So it's a lot of raw damage.
You know what I've also, speaking of 10 talents still, and we're going to be seeing those in just a second for the side of Diamond Hands, and I'm actually going to hold that thought because we have a bit of a scuffle over this objective. Here's a gust out from the Falstead, and Notori, split from his team, is going to get dove. Shockwave is really good, following up onto the taunt from Varian, as this is going to be a Genji trying to get away. He gets the agility over the wall, and this is also the Horde army summoned by Drekthar. The generals will be coming into lane for the side of Storm Esports, and Grubby, you want to jump into some Storm Esports comms, hear how they push into these lanes?
Yeah, let's hear from them.
In we go.
Yeah, coming. Yeah.
No packet. He has these, so.
Well, you actually destroyed him. What
Yeah,
the
if I
hell?
dodge his
Should I just go bad with Hager maybe?
Yeah, do that.
Like,
Someone has to get mid though, maybe.
I can
Like,
go.
No one is showing bottom yet.
We're getting Cocoon.
We already shut it
Yeah.
up.
They're so in 3 mid, like they're trolling. I don't know, they cannot
stun
throw
them in,
macro
I
at
can
all.
bullet them.
We're getting top for sure. Just be careful, they're gonna rotate bottom on you guys now.
Noob's
Yeah,
starting
they're
to
rotating
get
bottom.
right here.
Yeah, damn bad.
I fly now.
Genji will stop.
I don't have
I'm gonna get one more.
Yeah, we can wrap around maybe.
Yeah,
Going
yeah.
to
I'm catching mid.
He is pushing
I'm
top.
gonna
He is
think
pushing.
the stun with my E.
We're gonna get the whole wall here.
Nah, it doesn't work.
It's fine. We're getting a
That's
lot of value.
fine. Like that's one heal they got. We got 2 forts. And like keep wall.
Should go in like 5 seconds.
Here?
Yeah, I know.
so
I'm
fast.
gonna get
Let's
the
leave.
bottom.
Yeah, run.
I mean, I guess I got some KDA, but like, okay.
That's all that matters.
Is camp up? Yeah, camp's up.
Yeah, can't be
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Can't stop.
yeah.
Keep doing it.
They have to check boss. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, they have to be worried about top.
Oh, this
Ooh.
yes, they checked it.
Maybe they do boss. They do it like.
Maybe we can
semi-fast.
do. We can just trade bosses though. It's fine.
I think a new boss heading towards the bottom. I think they're just doing mini boss at mid camp.
Yeah, we can go top boss out of this maybe.
Yeah.
I'm going
Be
down
faster
now.
on camp by quite a bit. Augers start coming up.
Yeah, they're bottom. Yeah, we should do boss. Start it.
Yep.
They
we
will
should do
expect
boss.
us to like push mid here. I'm coming top. We have gas for it as well. They're probably just doing bottom boss.
Boss.
Not a super explosive moment in the comms, but we do get to hear, as I had mentioned in the previous maps, Grubby, the foresight, the planning from the side of Storm Esports, and even the guessing of, okay, we saw Nubrak, he was heading this way, they're probably doing this or this, and we should check. Really cool stuff, good communication from all sides, and I gotta say, Storm Esports, they are pushing and pushing and pushing on this map. They might actually find a keep off of this, Grubby.
Yeah, and just to comment on those comms a
Please.
bit more. Hold that thought. That's a bro charge, kind of missed its mark. Then a taunt, just kind of taunt to keep him in check. Mind control, not too scary.
Yeah. And Boss continues to wail, but please, Grubby, your thoughts.
Yeah, when a team or a player is doing really well, they always have this feeling that the other team doesn't know what they're doing. This isn't like, I mean, I don't want to say like there's no disrespect at all. There might
Sure.
be, I don't know. I'm just saying it's not necessarily a sign of expressing themselves relatively privately, right? It's between them. And I always had that feeling too when I was competing, where like when I knew what I was doing, how the game should be played, when the oppo doesn't do it, you're like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. That's a really comfortable feeling to have. That is the voice, the note, the tone of a confident team that has a good grasp on how the game should be played. In contrast to that, you can feel like you're generally doing well, but winning or losing because of reasons that you can't really figure out. It's when you can't really figure out what an opponent is going to do before they're going to do it. That kind of confusion comes from just being just a little bit out of touch with how other people think. When you know how they think and how they should be thinking, you can play their game better than they're doing it. That's where you get emotions like that, like, oh, they're trolling, why are they 3 mid? Because you know this is good for you. And I actually love that, because it is a glowering with confidence team that has that emotion, and that's why Storm is going to win this map.
Wow, that is I don't think I've ever heard Grubby talk in such definitive terms, but let's talk about the engagement right here. That's going to be Ancestor Healing connecting onto Lover. There's an next strike out from the Genji. Gust from IB Tings will come out, and a good turnaround taunt. But here's the thing, Drekthar will be summoning his generals. The Alliance army coming out, the cavalry will arrive soon. Kelsier getting chased by Rutso, and he's going to use everything in his power to close the distance. And then, of course, IB Tings comes in and says, ha, little kill stealer right here. Caesar Salad should fall in this engagement. Gonna burrow charge, run right into Lobber. He's got a taunt for the face of Caesar Salad. Greymane tries to get a kill, but it's going to be BBJ stealing another kill away. And the crazy thing is I actually expect this to be a keep through top lane and maybe some more damage into mid.
Yeah, why not? That should be a keep for sure. I don't know if you stick around for the mid wall, just because.
True.
Remember, those generals don't lose any health.
Yes.
They get the keep, they pop back. And they're just going to play it safe, mitigate damage. A lot of winning isn't just like getting kills and getting structural damage. It's also limiting damage to prevent the comeback. So, yeah, very, very safe play here by Storm. No trolling today.
Let's also really quickly talk about map mechanics, because not every, we might have some viewers here who are a little newer to Heroes of Storm, or they just stumbled in, or they're enjoying a MOBA. Like I watch esports that I have no idea what's happening, but I just love big esport events. Regardless, Alterac Pass is different than all of our maps on Heroes of Storm because it doesn't summon catapults. It summons Reaver minions. They look very similar to the Null Camp in mid lane, but what the Reaver minions do, they don't deal extra damage, triple damage, or anything like that into structures like minions and catapults. They actually have have physical armor, 50 physical and spell armor that allows them to tank more damage and push these waves up. You'll actually see the Reaver minion right here in mid lane. He's kind of that Knoll looking guy. And then the Knoll actual camp has the flail, much like the Hogger model. So little map mechanic there for all of you if you are wondering kind of the nuance of these Reaver minions. They don't deal extra damage, they just sit there and tank damage. And with 2 keeps down, Reaver minions can push up and end game. I've absolutely seen it before. Minions do exist on this map, as we do have a stun on 2, Dayquaza, who's going to start positioning to a safer side. And this boss, they have sold this boss, and here comes the big fight, Grubby.
Wow, 70% instantly from Cursed Bullets and Hammerang. Rhaegar, BBJ stays alive. X-Strike did not mark the spot. It was just off center. Maybe tickled BBJ just a tad. He stayed alive with about 7% health. Ancestral. Dayquaza trying to use Shockwave Staggering Blow to stay alive. But he doesn't. The chase is furious, enabled by Lucio and the mobility that Genji and Sylvanas naturally have. That's 1 kill to Diamond Hands. They must scramble to defend their mid lane, even as they stay near, trying to prevent Storm from grabbing this boss. There's the taunt on Sylvanas. Her Haunting Wave was used. Wasn't able to use it. Ibitings goes in. If he has a Hammerang, that's a kill.
That is going to be a kill. Did Blaze show in mid lane? Because that was a really smart call from Storm Esports, because that technically is a 5v4, but I don't know. Blaze might have actually rotated to mid, and then just the re-engage from Storm. Beautifully played. Top lane, look at this. These are the Reaver minions. And also note, it works in the same way as all the other maps, where if you take down a fort, you get periodic Reaver minions. And then when you take down the keep, you get the consistent every single wave. And since there's no fort down in top lane, there's nothing to match. So that top lane will always press into the core. It may not end since there's still 40 physical and spell armor on the core, but still, it's just someone has to respond to that consistently. And it's going to be able to allow Storm Esports to control this map more and more and more. I gotta say, they've got the right idea, but it still comes down to execution, Grubby. They could flub an entire team fight, and that could be the momentum shift back over to the side of Diamond Hands. But that has to happen. That flub has to be made by Storm Esports. I don't know if members of Diamond Hands can really force mistakes like that.
Yeah, exactly. Storm was hard engaging on them, 17 versus 16, and Diamond Hands got the best out of it, getting that kill there on the perimeter. But that's just one snapshot moment. Storm is going to be completely fine with that. They're still leading. They're still with the range. Overall, they've played safe. Diamond Hands have felt like they've been on. Yeah, Grayman just wait.
He's doing it.
He always does that, doesn't he?
It's Rutzo's doing it. So Dino does it in the past, but now it's Rutzo over here. Okay, sorry to cut you off, Grubby. It's just sorry.
No,
My
I love
apologies.
it. I love it. Rutzo tries to do that with all kinds of different heroes. I'm actually surprised he plays any heroes that can't solo the boss. That seems to be the #1 requirement for him to want to pick a hero.
I think we're seeing the call right now to turtle up for 20. There's 40 seconds still necessary of channel time. Falstad should get this with 1 hammering through the mid. And the re-engagement or the engagement should be happening right now. And immediately disengage from Caesar Salad and crew. 25 seconds still left on the channel. 31 for the side of Storm. But this 20 might be enough just to zone back Diamond Hands.
Yeah, it's not unwinnable at all for Diamond Hands.
I agree.
If this was
hard.
map 1 and you're feeling good and stuff, it's 1 level, 2 keeps, we're fine. It's everything that happened before it that makes this feel tough for Diamond Hands. We look at the hero damage. Genji, 0 deaths, 25,000 hero damage. That's more than anyone on the side of Storm. So he's doing good. Kills 2 to 5, totally fine. Still definitely a chance for Diamond Hands. That's not really the mind control target you want. They do bait out a Mighty Cast, which is nice. Greymane started the solo boss again. He's got it down to 60% already.
The members of Storm Esports, did show a few members rotating from the minion wave kill into this boss, and that's why we did see the re-engagement from Diamond Hands aggressively around that objective, and that's why we're also seeing this channel. But look at this, Dayquaza, you know what he's gonna go for? He's like, well, we have less time to channel, so we might as well just channel ours, so long as they actually get this channel in time here, because now we're seeing it they're like, wait a minute, this is actually not going our way, so let's actually stall things out. When a hero channels the jailer, it pauses the time. With the jailers or the guards, when they channel, it does not pause that timer. That is the difference. If anyone's wondering why it kind of pauses when a hero does and when those jailers channel, it doesn't do anything. But here comes another army from Drekthar pushing into these waves. The Horde is arriving, and one more keep to go down and a couple kills, Storm Esports might punch their way into the double elimination bracket next weekend.
Yeah, 30k is waiting for them, and Storm definitely wanted to join that top 4. They're so close to making that now. And this move out by Diamond Ants makes a lot of sense. If you can win a quick definitive fight before the general arrives, you create the space to deal with it. There's that totem. Is there going to be a totemic reapplication? Does he have that, Alan?
Yes, he
He
does.
didn't move the totem. Easy. Wonder how often he actually moves that totem, but nicely dealt with that general in the center. It's gone now. Bottom is being cleared, and there's a vanilla push by Storm Esports, making use of the distraction of that second one. X-Strike comes in. It's really so-so. Nice jump away, though, with the taunt, so that he didn't actually have to be forced to attack forward. There's a gust into the wall. That's about 2 to 3. And very nice high fives, though, coming in there from Valamar. So this is still giga fine for Diamond Hands. They haven't lost any keeps that they didn't already lose before. Good defense, did take damage. But now enters the best part of the game for Diamond Hands. No objective, no boss against them. And it's an equal fight. I say you jump in there, fight for that camp, but they don't.
Mind Control was used, Call of the Dark Lady was picked up, so it's going to have a 15-second cooldown. Another keep is going to be addressed through bottom lane with a wave arriving as well. They're going to poke their way into this. And I'm waiting to see, do we have a disengage? Also, keep in mind, the null camp in mid is getting some good keep damages. Valmar has to rush in for the high 5. X-Strike, Living Weapon does get cooldown reduction. 47 seconds, though, on the heroic for this Genji. And this is going to be keep through bottom lane going down. More Reaver minions to arrive. Mid lane keep is extremely low. And right now, Stormpike Vandar has 1 keep available, meaning he has 20 physical and spell armor. And really quickly, Grubby, you use this term a lot, and some of us know, some of us might not know. What do you mean by vanilla push? Could you explain that really quickly while we have this lull before our objective phase?
It's more of a vanilla bourbon push, you know, the fake vanilla, the vanilla extract, let's say, because real vanilla is really expensive, and a vanilla push would be super fancy, in fact, with all kinds of extra condiments and so on. I mean a vanilla bourbon push, just a straight up attack without any supporting materials. No minions, no objectives, no distractions, just 5 people banging on a keep and trying to batter its doors down. That was what happened, and that set up this keep, and that's why they were able to finish it off now with another vanilla bourbon push. I'll call it vanilla just for simplicity's sake. Diamond Ants grabs a boss, they lose the keep. That was always going to happen at some point. They accepted that they cannot keep that alive any longer. They have no mule, no way to repair it. They have a boss, it's going to take down a fort, and now it all comes down to this. If Storm is wise, they never go all in a fight, because the map is so advantageous for them.
Oh yeah.
Nonetheless, you cannot avoid any fight, plus they don't need to be scared, as they've won most of the fights so far.
Oh my god, Genji just gets all in, but he's going to be around 500 to be able to disengage. There's going to be a mind control from Sylvanas. Mostly buying some touches.
That shockwaves?
Oh my god. Sorry, I'm actually getting hit by a little bit of lag, so Grubby, could you please take over?
Yeah, that shockwave attempt there by Dequaza trying to last hit Genji, who got away with the skin of his teeth. That was super close. Genji kind of ran it there. He did survive. Valamar has healed him up to full now. The objective has once again begun to channel for Storm. They've got 30 seconds out. Valamar's getting that channel, and Storm disengages, as you should. You want to build up pressure on the side of the map. Now, none of these minion wave pressures, and you just let me know when you're back, none of these minion wave pressures is enough to end. You need about a camp or a couple of Reaver minions.
Looks like I should be leveled out right now. I am seeing the game live. Good gust into the wall onto Nintori. He's going to try and back away, but Caesar Salad's insanely split from his entire team. Needs to try and back away. Mind control utilized by Sylvanas, not connecting onto anyone. No channel onto the objective either, I think. We pause for a second, but in the sense of the fight, but we continue. Actually, no, the fight continues out once again. Genji comes in with the X-Strike, doesn't get much cooldown. Actually, gets quite a bit of cooldown reduction on that one right there. 7 seconds left on it or so. Hogger gets a bit of a bounce around. He doesn't have the no control, but that's a shockwave to try and save Greymane. Greymane does go down. Nintori very low. Falstad had to go tap well, and there was no gust even off of cooldown. So Greymane will fall. But here's the thing to address. Look at the core HP. Look at the Reaver minions. Nintori has to address this. So this is 4v4. If we go back to the objective, we should be seeing the fight being taken to the face of Diamond Hands. But Storm is getting a little bit low here.
So is the
Diamond
core.
Hands back away.
Scores at 11,000. Hogger though, Hogger real low. High five by Valamar actually on Hogger, but it chased too far. That was really risky for him. Caesar Salad's out of mana. He rewinds, but he's unable to use any abilities. Godfield goes in with another X-Strike. He gets a full cooldown. He gets a gold false start. He does end up falling, but there was a double X-Strike. Hogger goes down, so that's a great trade. Lauber and BBJ, the only ones still alive. Oh no, that's it. That's it.
I don't think there's a way that Blaze can really clear this out quick.
Or can he?
Can he?
Though?
That is the most tight. BBJ and crew, they just want to end. 1,357 HP remains on Stormpike Vandar. Lauber gets hit with a cocoon. BBJ goes in. He self-ancestrals with the healing reduction. That is going to be the game going to the side of Storm Esports. And that is going to be Diamond Hands taking 6th place in HeroesCCL Season 3. And I have to say, I was like, I never see Winions in this game. Well, look at it right there. I mean, granted, yes, they had to come in and take down that last 1,000 or so HP, but dear Lord, did Storm Esports sort of backs against the wall in that Hail Mary play, but they made the correct play, Justin. Am I right?
Yeah, that was sick. I don't think I've ever seen a game on Eltric end quite like that. We saw Oxygen do something somewhat similar with like their whole team where they sort of just base raced, but an actual backdoor like that, 2 versus 4, just really ridiculous at the end there with BBJ and Lauber. The support tank combo coming in. The Ancestral on Rhaegar at the end there, his self-Ancestral was completely crucial. That was very, very close. If he dies there, the game could be completely different. Diamond Hands could possibly get the objective and possibly win the game off of it. So just really, really well played by Storm Esports at the end. And it kind of shows what you were discussing about how forward thinking they are in their comms. When we listen to their comms, how they're so all on the same page, but they're not just thinking about the present, they're also thinking about the future and their opponent's best move as well as their own. They played their best move and it paid off there. So really well played by Storm Esports. That last game felt a lot closer than the previous 2, I'd say, at the end. They did get 3 keeps on the side of Storm, but Diamond Hands did make an attempt to come back there at the end. It's really, really difficult to be in that situation for Diamond Hands because there's a lot of adrenaline and a lot of pressure. You know that if you lose this next fight, you're done. And you know that all of your lanes are getting pushed in. They are on a timer, whereas Storm wasn't. So those like really high pressure situations where both teams are just running purely on adrenaline are just really, really cool to watch. But Storm does come out on top in the end with that backdoor. Just really cool, nice way to close out the series.
The series closed out, and I actually have a really quick stat for all of you before we get into our interview. I'm looking back at Season 1 when Simplicity did their run, and technically at this point, the members of Storm Esports have a better record as they only have dropped 1 map so far in the Gauntlet. Simplicity at this point in the Gauntlet dropped 2 maps. So right now, it is looking like a little bit like that Simplicity Season 1, but we can talk all about that a little bit later. What I want to start talking about right now is we got Ivy Tings on the line with us to start talking about that victory. And can you hear us, Ivy?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations on your victory. And I have to ask you immediately, as the hyper carry for your team, or this range assassin player, how are you so calm all the time? We get into comms and you're getting dove and blown up here and there, or at least they're attempting to, and you're just calm, cool, and collective. How do you stay so calm? I'm panicking and shrieking half the time.
I think it's never too good to get too high, too low. Keep it mellow, keep it consistent.
All right, well, I have to practice that on my own, but I don't want to hog all the questions as always. I'm going to throw it over to Justin for a question or two.
Yeah, so first of all, congratulations. You guys have been looking really strong. I've got, I guess, a couple questions. Initially, how is it feeling playing with Rutso now, being in a position where maybe there's more than one Zarya on the team? Do you ever feel kind of bad that you don't get to play Zarya? Because I know in Storm League I've seen you play that quite a bit in the past.
I don't play that much Zarya, and Rutso is definitely the Zarya god, so can't really take that from him. But we're pretty flexible with our picks, and we're comfortable on a lot of things, so we're never angry, whatever we get. So yeah, we're pretty comfortable with all the picks.
And it seems like you've stepped up a lot, and it's nice to hear you in the comms. What kind of a difference do you think it makes going from your comms previously to now being able to like communicate with the team a lot better? How do you think that kind of affects the team?
I think mostly I call a lot more macro, so I think we're a bit better in that regard. And whenever I'm dying, before I couldn't really call it, so now I'm just yelling help, 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 help. And I hope, like before, I used to hope BBJ just was looking at me all the time. Now I can call for it, and it's a lot better. Yeah.
Well, that's definitely a big improvement. I have really one quick question before I throw it over to Grubby. I feel like there's many ways to pronounce your name, my friend. So what is the correct pronunciation?
It is the 3-syllable pronunciation. IB Tings.
Ah, yes, I have it right. Okay, perfect. Anyways, sorry. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Grubby, any questions for IB Tings?
I was wondering if you were laying it on a little thick, saying help, help, I need help to make up for lost time.
That was a possibility, yes. But I do say help a lot.
Well, you deserve it with the damage you put out. In this last game, you're 2-0. You know, some of your teammates tend to troll a bit sometimes when it matters just a little bit less, like BBJ, Lauber. All of you are sounding like you're having a lot of fun. But you really were that picture of calmness. Some of your gusts here, like, for example, near the top boss, when you guys maybe could go for boss, you had the level lead, even a Storm tier talent lead, you just gust away to prevent any trouble. Was that, like, so important for you to make sure that you lock this down with a 3-0? You don't feel like, oh, it's okay if we lose one, we'll just get the next. You really wanted to protect this victory, didn't you?
It was kind of a cautious approach. Not all the gusts were that great over there, but Lauber was getting gone on. I think we were on top boss. I think that was the only window when they could have gone on us and like got a pick. We were split, like 2-3 split. So just wanted to secure like the win with as little risk as possible. And that's what I did.
Exactly. Makes a lot of sense. So now you guys have secured your spot in the playoffs. Congratulations. Really big deal. And you're going to be going up against 30K. What are your thoughts on that match coming up next week?
They're a good team. All their players are like probably near the top, or if not the top of their roles. And we've scrimmed them a lot. We've played them in the regular season. We're confident in our abilities, and I look forward to playing them. And hopefully we'll have a great series.
Amen.
Ever so just humble, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. Before I let you run out of here, are there any shouts that you'd like to give? The floor is all yours.
Shout out to the organization, Storm. Shout out to my teammates for sticking with me, even from the beginning when I wasn't talking. Shout out to everyone that, like all my friends who play this game. This is such a great game, so keep playing. And that's it, yeah. Shout out to Twitch chat, and yeah, that's it.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on your gauntlet run as Storm Esports, and we look forward to seeing you up against 30K next Saturday in our first best of 5. Good luck in your scrims, practice, and all that stuff in between, IB. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Well, with that said, man, that's the ladder bracket. We have figured out our top 4, but we don't want to start talking about all that kind of stuff just yet. We got to talk about the Power Play of the Day, presented by Wisdom. Actually, technically it's presented by Justing, but I think Wisdom likes to have their name and things here and there. So Justing, what's our Power Play of the Day here on HeroesCCL?
So the Power Play of the Day, presented by Wisdom, that we've got coming up is the way to close out a series between Storm and Oxygen. We can go ahead and get into that. It's the final team fight that kind of ended the series for them. You see Lauber gets in trouble here, and Dequaza hits a huge isolation. So if we can, he gets the pull onto Medivh, and watch Medivh's HP as he gets into the portal, and this is where Lauber totally meant to do this. I believe he did. He goes bowling. He gets the ricochet onto Draded, and now we can go back to normal speed. The fight is very split now, and they no longer have their Medivh. So you're going to see Storm with the Lucio, with the move speed, run down Madara, and they're just on separate sides of the fight. It's essentially a 3v3 on one side and a 3v2 on the other side, just not where you want to be, completely split. We see them just run them down. This is where BBJ and Comms got flamed a little bit for inting on Cursed, as is tradition, but he lets everyone know it's fine. They get the trade onto Heavy, and the rest of the cliff is just them deciding if they want to take their entire team the next 30 seconds to kill Vince on the Diablo, or if they want to end the game. And that was when we were in comms, so we could hear BBJ saying, like, what are you guys doing? Stop trying to kill the Godzilla, please just go end the game, like, he's gonna respawn anyways. But it was a really cool haymaker clip, being able to use his own teammates against him and go bowling and take out the Medivh.
It was actually this. We were in comms during that, as you had mentioned, and at the start, we actually hear Lauber being like, "Uh-oh, I'm bad," because he was caught in all of that lurking arm and everything, and that actually perfectly played out for Lauber. So thank you so much for the clip, Justin. Thank you for the wisdom power play of the day. But we're not done talking about CCL stuff, because I believe we have our bracket ready to go, and we can kind of catch you up as to what happened this weekend. And Grubby, could you break down our 4 best of 5s that we saw this Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, Oxygen Esports was able to break the 3-0 litany of games that we've seen. Storm Esports has, at least in terms of the placement that they were at and the way that they've gone, they've mimicked something with an even better map score that Simplicity has done in a prior season. But for the most part, it's been pretty clear which team was deserving to advance to the next round. Chili Mountain won their first best of 5 against Granite, upending their league status and improving to 7th place. Storm Esports mercilessly swatted down Chili Mountain, and then also managed to defeat Oxygen and Diamond Hands in 3 back-to-back matches. Oxygen had moments of brilliance, but were unable to advance beyond that. In this last match, it was just full Storm dominance. They are the deserving 4th member into the playoffs, where they will be facing the number 1 league placement team, 30K, and in the other semifinals, the second semifinals of the winner bracket, Simplicity versus Wildheart. That is going to be unchained in the next weekend and finalize in the weekend thereafter. Great days of HoTS coming up.
If we can actually stay on this screen for just a few seconds here, I'm really curious to get Justin and Grubby's thoughts. Who will we see in the grand finals? Because I personally, I feel like it's going to be like family. Who do you think we'll see in the grand finals? I just got like a rough prediction for Thing and Grubby.
So 30K and Storm both look super strong. Simplicity and Wildheart obviously also looking good. Simplicity hasn't looked quite as strong at the end of the season, so we'll see whether they've had the time to prepare like they had in previous seasons for the grand finals, for the playoffs here, for the semifinals. I would be, if I'm Wildheart and Simplicity, I'm really putting a lot of kind of importance on that matchup between Wildheart and Simplicity, because whether 30K or Storm Esports, whichever team loses there, you do not want to face them in the losers bracket. 30K and Storm Esports could possibly be the grand finals. It could be a rematch in the grand finals of that matchup, 30K and Storm. So for Wildheart and Simplicity, you really want to beat that other team, because if I was either of them, I would prefer to face who they're facing in Simplicity and Wildheart than either Storm or 30K, with how strong both those teams have been looking.
Thank you so much for the in-depth analysis. Grubby as well, just really quickly, if I could get a thought on who you think we might see in that grand finals getting into, or after next weekend, excuse me.
Yeah, not much to add there. I pretty much echo the sentiment of Justin here, and I think Wildheart is the dark horse, and 30K and their opponent Storm here are looking like the favorites.
Well, we'll find out next weekend what's going to happen with that. Next weekend, Saturday, January 15th and 16th, will be that double elimination bracket. And one more quick thing before we start wrapping up today. I want to get your closing thoughts here, Justin and Grubby, and I'm going to start with Justin again. Any sort of takeaways from today or this weekend of matches?
Storm Esports just looking extremely dominant. They were my favorite coming up through the gauntlet, but even I wouldn't have predicted them to be quite as dominant as they were. Having 3-0, 3-0, and 3-1 scoreline is really, really scary, especially for 30K. 30K, obviously a great team. They're going to be really confident going into that series. But Storm Esports is also the one team that beat 30K in the regular season, so they're going to be remembering that for sure. And yeah, the semifinals are going to just be really exciting. I think there's no doubt that these 4 teams that are in the semifinals are the best 4 teams we have.
I would absolutely agree. I'm super excited about next weekend games. We had a lot of great games this weekend as well. And so, Grubby, any sort of takeaways from our matches?
Well, I'm just thinking we haven't seen from Simplicity in so long. I wonder if we're selling short their status of potential favoriteness for the playoffs, because, well, they've won the previous 2 seasons. Don't know if Cure is going to make an appearance. Probably not, since he's not actively participating anymore and he's just a substitute. And he was on the winning team before, so there might be a difference. But I guess it's dangerous to sleep on Simplicity's potential. So yeah, really don't know. I think Storm showed that they deserve to be in top 4.
Yeah.
Maybe that's about as far as I'll go. And I think we've got 4 amazing teams in the playoffs.
I 100% agree with you, my friend. It was a very fun weekend of games. Unfortunately, it was a no-gall weekend, so we didn't get to see any of the best hero in Heroes of the Storm, even though BBJ and Lobber lied to me completely. So that is my takeaway, and as I said before, we will be back with HeroesCCL, the double elimination bracket, starting on January 15th, January 16th, starting at 11 a.m. PST, 2 o'clock EST, and 20 CET. We very much appreciate all of you for joining HeroesCCL this weekend. We look forward to next weekend. We appreciate all the donations, subscriptions, Twitch bits, all that good stuff. We thank you all for being an amazing community. And we look forward to those games next weekend. Until then, I've been Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing. This has been HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. We'll see you in the Nexus. Good night.